Monday on Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan. How about I'll give you one? How about I give you one for the very first SDFC?
It has been too long.
Yeah! A guttural scream. How about that?
God, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. That hurt.
Game 3 of the NLDS, maybe?
That hurt like a mofo, actually. I was...
Out of practice?
No, in practice. Too much practice. Too much practice over the week. Screaming over the weekend. At baseball practices and SEALs games. And then last night's victory. SDFC. How about those? You got to give it up for those guys, man. We are not used to that in San Diego, California. We are not. And I don't ever want to turn into one of those guys that is like, nope, we're constantly curt. You know, like I get it. There's some bad luck and things like that. But let's be honest. Nobody thought we were winning our first game last night. No one on the planet. So to have them do it was pretty badass, man. It really was.
I'm not the doomer that others are in this town, but I'll have to admit, when they got near the end, kept waiting for the equalizer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And there were plenty of chances. I mean, me last night was going, oh, God.
Get ready for that's a very San Diego sports thing.
Yes. I know, dude. I know. I was with you 100%, man.
The old, we are so bad.
We are so back. Oh, this feels right. Like, we all know all the tropes.
Mid-season form.
That we all use, man. It was great, dude. And yeah, we are, of course, are going to talk about that. But I was genuinely moved and genuinely excited last night when I watched, and all I got to see was the second half. But we'll talk about that. Obviously, it was great. Welcome in, Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. Had such a great week last week. Really enjoyed talking to Darren Smith last week. And of course, as you guys probably noticed, he's going to be on the radio broadcast now. And again, with our competition across the street. But hey, man, at the end of the day, like, I don't care. I was excited for Darren. Getting the opportunity to do that. He came in and just knocked it out of the park on our show. It was so much fun. So, man, we've had a good week. I don't expect that to change at all this week. And we'll get into those plans here in a moment. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
This is Paulie's like Super Bowl week, man. This is like he has got to get as locked in as possible. He never lets us down. And the moving parts behind the scenes for this week are pretty insane. We'll get to that too. Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, had himself one hell of a great round of golf this weekend, didn't you, sir?
I had my best 3-hole stretch of my life. I wouldn't say the whole round was great.
80?
Shot an 80, which is not anywhere near like my best, but I had 3 straight tap-in birdies. I've never done that in my life. A par 4, a par 3, and a par 5. All of them within like a foot and a half for birdie.
That's
which
amazing.
was insane. So I felt like a pro.
That's like a pro. You're like,
for 3 holes. I felt like a pro.
This is what it's like.
You know, I'm imagining Jim Nantz going, this is his 3rd straight tap-in birdie. It's 3 under over the last 3 holes.
That's incredible.
Moving up the leaderboard.
That's an incredible day.
Had a good weekend. Got to watch some of the baseball.
Yep.
We'll talk, obviously, about the Padres, but it was good to have even fake exhibition baseball back on my television and getting to see the Padres in action over the last 3 days.
Lots to like. There was a lot to like this weekend. If you're watching spring training baseball, there was a lot to like about some of the pitchers that we saw. We can get into yesterday's game against the Dodgers. We can get into the games on Friday. It's just a feeling. For me, it was just a feeling. Driving around at noon on Friday, being able to put the game on and just having the familiarity of Tony and Jesse and Jesse flubbed. He like the first inning. He's like, all right, and that'll do it. Actually, no, that's 2 outs. And it's like he goes spring training for us too. And I'll say this: the dude is such a pro. I was like, good for you. Yeah, you make mistakes too, right? Like everyone was trying to get it figured out. But man, it just felt really, really good to hear that. Those guys back on my radio, to drive around, then to go home and put the game on was electric. It was so much fun. So hope everybody out there had a good weekend. Our weekend was good, man. We did, coached some T-ball action, had a SEALs game that was insanely good. Lost by 1, but one of the, I don't like the moral victory bit, but my God, did we play hard and play well.
I'd love to be able to see that team in the finals again
Oh,
this year
my
if the Seals could
God.
get there. That would be a great third meeting against the Buffalo Bandits.
We match up really well. It was a packed house at Pechanga Arena, man. Bandit fans, actually, I was looking around. I mean, for the National Lacrosse League, those dudes traveled pretty well. There was a loud contingent of Bandit fans there.
They want to get out of Buffalo and
right?
to
Shocking.
San Diego. Crazy.
They're like, I don't even like the NLL. I just want to get the hell out of here.
It's going to be 73 degrees in San Diego. Let's go watch the Bandits game in Pechanga Arena.
What a weekend. I mean, what a
beautiful
perfect,
weather.
Beautiful
weather.
weekend. The Tier 1 baseball team, we had our debut in the upper level yesterday, and we won 6-5. Came back with a couple of runs in the top of the ninth, held on for a huge victory against the Grizzlies, who are a good team, a really good team. And man, you get in there, Benny, and you move up a level, and you go, maybe I'm too old for this S. After a guy is busting out, first 2 pitches are sliders, puts me away on a 3-2 pitch with a splitty that was disgusting, and I'm looking. He knows me. I know him. He's playing first later. I walked up and I got in his ear. I go, "Why are you throwing 50-year-olds splitters on 3-2?" And he goes, "I just wanted to end up on the radio again." So number 24, you were fantastic. Your defense let you down. And yes, congratulations on punching out a 50-year-old turd with a 3-2 split finger fastball.
You're 8 years older than Yuli Gurriel.
9, right? Or is he 40,
41?
41?
I think.
And how old is he? Would you say that kid, Paulie, is 25?
I was going to say 25.
I'm old enough to be your dad, dude. And throw me a fastball. I'm 50 years old. What are you throwing splitters at me for? You sack of ass. I was so mad. I go, just throw me a heater. If I get it, you tip your cap, and I'll tip my cap if you strike me out on one. Slider, fastball, split finger. Come on, dude. 50-year-old man out there. So I got no business being in the lineup. I mean, I was 0 for 3, 1K, feeble ground out, and a feeble fly out. I got no business being out there. But the Tier 1s, they picked me up, came out and won. It was a blast, dude. How great was that, Paulie, being back out on the field with the boys?
So much fun.
Just a great.
Missed everybody.
Great. I did too, man. I love this squad of baseball players we put together. And the league is so fun. Everyone competes so hard. It's just fun. It's fun to get out there and compete. So I had a great weekend, man. I'm shot out of a cannon this morning, and I realized this morning, getting up and getting ready for work, I looked at Hannah. I go, "Oh my God!" I leave tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
I got a lot to do.
I am jam packed to the gills.
Yeah, we're heading to spring training right after the show tomorrow for shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning from the Peoria Sports Complex. I still have to do laundry. I have to pack. I'm working tonight at Channel 10, so
that's all my
I got
day
a ton
today.
to do after the show today.
I got to go film a TV commercial. It's no big deal.
Oh, you're coming down to my place?
It's
Yes.
no big deal, guys. Just another.
I got an email from Bill, who does our commercial production, and asked if Woods is going to need a teleprompter for his commercial spot. So I texted Woods and asked what he thought.
Does a bear S in the woods? Yes, I need to No, I've memorized the script, Ben. Been really exploring my character over the weekend. Yes, I need a teleprompter. Hi. Thank you for watching QC Kinetics. Yes, I also love QC Kinetics. Very good.
There's a skill in reading the teleprompter to make it sound like you're not reading a teleprompter.
So here's the thing. Oh, God, and I'm going to get crushed for this. Again, you guys remember the Sedano commercial that I shot, right? What's funny? That I look like an absolute load on it? How about that?
There was a lot that was funny
All
about
right.
that.
How about that I'm the only one that they made wear the station T-shirt? Everyone else dressed to the nines. Here comes old Slap D Woods in his 97.3 The Fan shirt.
But you've never worn again.
I've never wore it before. I never wore it since. I'm going to need him in his logoed shirt. Why just me? Why didn't Emily from across the street? Why was she allowed to look all cute? Why did Beto and DJ Rock or whatever, Frankie Vizzle, why are they all dressed in leather and looking cool? And here's me in a T-shirt. All right, that was that one. So I'm doing a commercial today for QC Kinetics, and at the end, they want me to like swing a golf club. All right, my swing when my game was at its best wasn't that great. I don't play anymore. I'm just fully on baseball again. I haven't swung really a club in a while. What club? I didn't even grab any clubs. So all I have in my... Do you have clubs in your bag?
I do.
I need like a 7-iron.
You can borrow my 7-iron.
Will you be there at 1?
No, just take it when we go
take it when
downstairs
we leave.
after the show today, and then you can give it back to me, or leave it at have someone leave it at my desk.
So I have to swing a golf club on a commercial, which I'm sure won't be broken down and analyzed over and over and over by our listening audience over and over and over.
Get the telestrator out.
Yes. So I got to do that today. I'm a nervous wreck about it because I hate being on TV, but I love QC Kinetics, and anything I can do to help them get more business, I will obviously do. And they did change my life 100%, but so I got to do that today. And I just thought to myself, how do I get myself into these situations? And I will be filming a commercial today and swinging a golf club, and will look like a big dumb idiot, I'm sure.
All right, when we come back, our first thoughts on the big win last night, SDFC, their debut against LA Galaxy. We'll set the menu for today's Monday program as well. First, though, I know it's early. It's probably not something you want to think about, but...
Death.
Well, I mean, someone has to think about what happens to your family if something should befall you and you're not here anymore. No one wants to kind of play that out in their mind. But here's the good news. If you go to trustandwill.com and spend like 20 minutes or so answering some simple questions, you don't have to think about it again. You simply go there, answer questions that help you set up a trust or a will to just like your directives that you'd like to be executed after you're gone, and then you don't have to think about it again. They'll send you the documents, put them in somewhere safe. If something happens, you take them out, and your family has a little peace of mind, a little chance to know exactly what's supposed to happen after you're gone.
I mean, I feel like we all know. We've all heard, got to get a will. You need to get a trust as well. Probate keeps your family out of probate court. If you have a will, it will not keep your family out of probate court. So get the trust as well. But it's pretty simple. It's right there in the name. You can go to trustandwill.com. Trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego when you check out, all one word, San Diego. You'll get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com. Use San Diego at checkout.
Designate guardians for your kids, too. Absolutely a must at trustandwill.com. All right, it took way too much research, but I did finally figure out that I could watch the SDFC debut last night without buying the MLS Season Pass package. The Sunday night game is available to all Apple TV Plus subscribers without any extra charge.
Just last night.
Just the Sunday night game. So whenever SDFC is on Sunday nights, you can watch it on Apple TV Plus. And I do have Apple TV Plus, so I was able to call it up on my phone last night at work, and I watched the entire game. I can't say outside of the World Cup I have sat down and watched too many entire soccer games on television in my life. Bits and pieces here and there, but I decided, all right, well, you know what? There's never been a game before. This is the first one I can say, all right, I've watched every San Diego FC game in their franchise history if I turn this one on. And I did.
It doesn't surprise me, Benny. You are as dedicated of a San Diego sports lover as anyone I have ever met, and you're a fabulous influence on the rest of us. And I if you had said to me, Woodsy, you're going to put on an MLS game in which San Diego is playing, and you're going to enjoy the hell out of it, I would have said, sure I will. Now, I checked at halftime because we had a game, and then after the game, I had to go get fingerprinted for Little League. There's 75 people in line, so I actually had to leave. I'm going to have to go do it another time. But so I missed the entire first half, and I looked at the score, and I went, oh, cool, 0-0 or whatever. When did the first goal happen?
Just after halftime,
just
52nd minute.
So it was like 0-0, and I'm like, all right. I thought to myself, well, this is good because the line on the game I saw was like LA Galaxy? They're favored by like a goal and a half. And I said, all right, we're hanging tough with them. But in my mind, I went, I didn't miss anything. Nothing happened. 0-0.
It was a fairly inactive first half. But that happens in a lot of soccer games. 0-0 is a very common
0-0.
halftime score. 0-0.
Don't be an idiot.
It's okay.
If you're going to do it, just say 0-0. I don't want to get
Just don't
dragged.
say nothing. It's 0-0 or 0-0.
All right.
Here's what was weird for me. I can watch a baseball game, like the first 3 innings, and if there's no score,
no problem.
That's the thing. It's no problem, but you also get a sense like which teams dominate. I know the sport well enough. Like, wow, one pitcher is really dominating. The other team's had a bunch of chances. I can tell. Yeah, this team's close to breaking through. I can see where the momentum's going. I watch a basketball game. I watch a football game. The score may be tied, but I can get the sense of who is the better team. And I wasn't as sure of myself as I was watching the soccer game.
Yeah.
It felt to me, to my non-expert eyes, that it was a fairly evenly matched game. And the announcers seemed to agree. They would come up with the stats like time of possession. It was like 49%, 51%. Both teams seemed to have the ball about the same amount of time. Neither team really had any outstanding scoring chances. SDFC had the one corner kick. But the LA Galaxy really did not, have any opportunities in the first half at all. So yes. I thought, at least, to myself, that was a pretty good first half for SDFC on the road. I know enough about soccer to know when you're going on the road, you're very happy to get the draw. You're like 1 point, get the draw when you're on the road. That's a good result, even for a good road team. Like even if you're Manchester United or Liverpool and you're going on the road to one of your rivals, you'll say, hey, sign me up for 1-1 draw. Get me out of there with 1 point. I'm okay with that.
You get a point. And I learned last night in the MLS, you get 3 points for a win. You get 1 point for a draw. Correct. And you get 0 points for a loss.
Yeah.
Did I say nil? I said nil. And everyone's in the chat saying I said nil. That's my southern accent that very rarely. If you ask my mom, hey, Mom, what was the score at half? She said, oh, nil. That's what she would have
like
said.
Neil Young.
So maybe it came out Southern, but I know that it's 0-0. And so I get home and I put the game on, and Hannah's like, how do we get the soccer game on? And I go, well, I've got it on my phone. And she goes, oh, we'll cast it to the TV. And I said, who are you talking to? Oh, I've never casted anything in my life. Neither have you. She also can't do it. We tried. It was a futile attempt. So we huddled around my phone as we were eating our I had a carne asada burrito that was fantastic. It was a little cheat night. It was a big cheat night. It was actually massive. I had ice cream and a Coke and a burrito.
Nachos.
No nachos.
And a pizza.
This is for me only. Where did you go?
I was going to go to Jorge's,
Yeah.
and I went down to pick it up. It was closed.
Oh.
So we just DoorDash Roberto's, which was
Roberto's?
fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
So, and I also might have scooped up guac and cheese with scoop Fritos after it was over. So it was a cheat night. I can still taste it in my mouth.
How did you gain all the weight?
It was a Roberto's Sunday night after a baseball game. But we were, me, Bo, and Hannah were huddled around the phone, and we got to see all the scoring, and it was fantastic. We were all yelling and screaming. It was great.
That's on you, though. Apple TV actually, I mean, from their baseball broadcast, soccer, they do a good job. It looks
well
crisp,
done.
it looks clean, and if you could ever figure out how to cast it to your television, which most of America has actually figured out.
Nope,
We've
not
got
us.
a Roku at home. All you have to do is click on Apple TV.
I don't have a Roku.
You don't have a
Comes right
smart
up.
TV?
I have a smart TV. We have an app. We have the Apple TV. The remote for the Apple TV
And you still
doesn't
can't do
work.
it.
The remote
Oh.
doesn't work. So we tried to cast from my phone onto the TV, but it wasn't when we hit AirPlay, it wouldn't show the TV as something I could cast to.
Screen
it would only go to my
mirroring,
phone.
anything? No,
Nothing.
nothing.
No
All right.
mirror, no nothing.
No.
You guys don't understand. It's a constant struggle.
It like hurts my brain on how frustrating you live sometimes.
I almost called you, and I don't want to bother this guy right now. I don't want to bother him. Guys, I'm
just
telling
hung
you.
up.
I'm sure you can find a way to pay $200 extra a month to cast your.
No question that we
Cast your
bought.
phone to your
No
television.
question that we bought the wrong TV.
Just
There's no
Venmo
question.
me $200 a month, and I'll make sure you are able to.
Apple
Stream.
TV has an app on the Roku. I don't have a Roku. I don't even know what a Roku is.
Rokus aren't expensive.
But like we have Samsung TVs in the studio. They have like the apps
It's
on
usually,
the TV.
like, Apple TVs aren't
YouTube,
even built in.
Netflix, Max,
All you have to
Apple
do is
TV.
log
The remote doesn't
All you
work.
have to do is log in once on that television, and then you're good to go.
Thank you, Orthodox, who says sometimes you can't cast games from apps. Thank you. Thank you. We could not do it. We couldn't do it.
But
This is a whole different topic. I want to stay on point and talk about how
like,
great.
what TV can you buy in the last 10 years that doesn't have the apps already on the TV? It's so frustrating, Woods.
Trust me.
It doesn't have to be this difficult.
I know. Life should not be. Life's already hard enough.
You don't have to live this way,
You should
man.
see it. Life is already hard enough. You should see how hard it is in our home. You have no idea how hard it is in our home, man, to get it going.
What am I gonna do?
But let's talk about it. It was electric. It was so rad. And to go in and whoever does the games on Apple TV, I wish I knew the guy's name. He was phenomenal. Kept me informed. The excitement was there. And I think that's pretty standard with most soccer announcers, right? They're fired up. They love the game. And man, he had me when he started rattling off, no one's won here since 1987. I was like, oh my God, this is so huge. I mean, it was so cool. You go in, defending champs in their house, hostile environment.
Here's
knocked it
the
out.
game winner was such a great call.
Cleared away by Angel. Now Dreyer into space,
What a
looking
ball.
for Angel. Perfect ball to Thomas Angel. Isolated with Peck. Angel through. Dreyer!
Let's go, dude.
What an absolute dream night for San Diego FC! The expansion side are going to take down the defending champs. Honest Dreyer a brace. San Diego FC leads 2-0.
That's the put it on a shirt, right?
What an absolute dream night for
Yeah.
San Diego FC!
Yeah, dude. Little brother. Old little brother comes in, and he gets you one more time. Just whack, 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 right on your forehead.
Got a new star in San Diego, and Anders Dreyer, who scored the first two goals in SDFC history. And honestly, and the announcer mentioned a couple times, they could have had 3 or 4 goals. Chucky could have had
Oh, my
one.
God, Chucky.
Really great save by Mitrovic, the goalie for LA Galaxy. And then, of course, there were a couple of really good saves by CJ Dos Santos, the goalkeeper for San Diego FC.
How about throwing up a clean sheet, Benny,
Clean
in your
sheet,
very
nice.
first match?
Brace of goals, clean sheet. We're learning all the soccer terminology here in San Diego.
I loved it so much. It really was so exciting, and I wanted to wear my jersey today. It is skin tight. I noticed that yours fits, Paulie.
Yeah.
I really was fired up. And my family loved it. Bo loved it, and Hannah loved it. Taylor is in his own world. But it was such a blast. It was such a blast to watch. And I'm just so happy they won, man. And it was really cool. I was happy for a lot of our friends that just love the game.
It's going to be a scene on Saturday night when they
God.
have their home opener against St. Louis City coming up this week at Snapdragon
I think it would have been
Stadium.
pretty
It
crazy.
would have been
but
pretty
now
nuts
it's-
anyway.
Now it's on.
Our beloved Darnay Tripp, who is just so dialed
God, I love
in.
Darnay.
He's so good. He's always so on top of things. He tweeted, he goes, I wonder how many tickets they've sold now. I mean, it's going to be insane out at the Snap on Saturday. I wish I could make it, but no, it was great, dude. It was so fun. It's what you, like they said, it was a dream for an expansion team to go in and play that caliber of team and go in there and whip their ass. I'm sorry, they whipped their ass. 2-0 is 2-0. That's an ass whipping. Right?
In soccer? Yeah.
In soccer,
On the road?
that is an
Absolutely.
ass whipping. On the road.
Which tier one said they bet on SDFC to win?
$100 to win
plus
650.
Plus 650 on the odds. That's a huge upset. That's an enormous upset in their first game. We'll talk more SDFC as the morning goes on, but we also have to get to Padres and their first weekend of Cactus League games in spring training. Some injury updates already from the San Diego Padres, both good and not so great for the team, but we'll get you updated on what's going on before we head out tomorrow for Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. We'll talk about the Aztecs. Terrible injury and loss to Utah State on Saturday night. That was a tough one as well. We'll be joined by spring training Sammy at 8:35 from Peoria, Arizona. All of our regular features as well. Should be a good show. Stay tuned. More coming up. We'll get into the Padres talk when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, it's Woodsy Underdog, one of the leading sports apps you can now play right here in our state of California. Do you want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can with Underdog. So, whatever sport you're into, MLS, you could have actually put some last night, chosen higher or lower on some of the player stats. Of course, it's basketball season. March Madness is going to be here around the corner. Baseball's coming. This is a really good time to download the app and have some fun with daily fantasy like I've been doing. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money, so turn $1 into 1,000 just with your hoops and sports knowledge. So millions of fans already won tons of money making picks on the Underdog. Their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and tons of players. So it's been a blast. It's a super easy app to use and navigate as well. They're giving you special promos and offers. It's really, really cool. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code WOODS to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code WOODS. Claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. God. You're an addict. You're an addict.
What sort of addict?
SDSU basketball.
I am.
Like a junkie, like a stone. He just said in here, Paulie, we were going to do a live member stream, I think, out in Peoria, because we're leaving for spring training tomorrow after the show. Ben goes, we have some like funny, racy ideas. Ben's idea was, we could watch the Aztecs game together on a live stream. I think I'd rather eat my own hair than
we
do
watched
that.
The Notre Dame game last time we were out there, and it was
everyone
your
wanted to watch
reactions.
my reaction.
Well, that's what everyone wants to watch, my reactions to the Aztecs game.
Oh, boy.
Plus, tomorrow night would be a good night
He's
for
really
it because I'm
leaning
not
into this,
working,
isn't he?
so we get there, we do our live stream tomorrow night for the members. Would be actually pretty.
I don't want to do a radio show.
No,
Drive
I wouldn't be
6
doing,
hours.
I wouldn't be doing a radio show. I get too emotional while watching the game.
No.
I get frustrated.
Here's what I don't want to do. The game's tomorrow?
The game's tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't want to do a radio show. Drive 6 hours.
Was it, by the way, 9 p.m. Mountain Time?
Go to
it is
Dick's,
late.
buy a pop-up, then go back to the Airbnb, and then set up the cameras and be like, all right, here. If you want to do it solo, fine.
Not the worst idea.
It'd be like
Only Ben.
Like an only Ben. Yeah, you're watching Ben and his creamy thighs watching the Aztecs just freaking out. Keegan says, "Now we're good."
Wasn't the most exciting thing I saw.
I don't know if you know, Wednesday, kind of a big deal. Like, those are big shows
Those are
for
big
us.
shows. We need to
Maybe
be
lock in
prepared.
and go to bed a little early.
Well, he's going to be up till 3 a.m. tweeting about the Aztecs.
Oh, yeah. But I'm going to be working basically 24/7.
What if we start him an OnlyFans account, a legitimate OnlyFans account,
and it's just SDSU
and it's just Ben
basketball.
talking SDSU basketball.
People are like, what did I just pay for? I was looking at this guy's feet, his calves. That's what I was into.
I'm worried. We're going to find out today. Well, we'll talk about it coming up.
He's
in
a wreck,
few
by the way,
minutes,
about
but
this loss. He is an
It's not
absolute
the loss.
wreck.
It's Magoon.
I know.
If he doesn't come back, I don't see much hope the rest of this season for San Diego State, unfortunately. But we'll talk about it coming up. This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Wake up on the right side of breakfast with the new banana French toast sticks for $3.49 from Jack in the Box. Crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and served with a chocolate dipping sauce. This is what Jack means by so much more.
So much more.
No, the best thing I saw, other than the SDFC win last night, I was playing golf right after the show on Friday. but I flipped on my phone to see the Padres getting started in their first Cactus League game, and to see Manny Machado
Mamacita.
home run on the first pitch he saw,
Dude,
in spring training, and not just a home run.
First pitch swinging, Manny in the air to deep center field. Rodriguez tracking it. He's at the wall looking up. It's going to go.
Amazing.
First pitch of the spring to Manny Machado, a 2-run home run.
But dead center, I mean, just got all of that, just nuked it out at the Peoria Sports Complex. And thinking about where Manny was 12 months ago.
yeah.
Not really even able to, get started. He was still rehabbing from his elbow surgery, wasn't going to be even playing third base until late in the month, I think April, when he first got out there. Obviously, the swing wasn't dialed in, wasn't 100% yet there. Just to see Manny start spring training with a classic Manny swing gets me very excited about the possibilities for the kind of season he'll be able to put together this year for the Padres.
You guys remember our first spring training together? I believe it was his first spring training with the Padres, was it not? And remember he hit a bomb in his first at bat, and we were sitting next to his wife.
Oh, that was his.
Remember that?
He was
second.
Second.
That was
spring
second, but
training.
she was late, right? She missed it.
She missed it. She showed up like right after it landed, pretty much, and we go, "Oh, your husband just hit a big, massive dong out of the stadium." She's like, "Oh, okay. I'm sure he's gonna be pleased that I wasn't."
She said,
in my
I'm going to
seat."
hear about that
I'm
later.
going to hear about it later. No, it was great, man. What did it, 106 or something off the bat? Just absolutely murdered. It was great. It was great to see and got me excited. And obviously hearing the excitement in Jesse's voice and Tony was just an awesome Friday afternoon. Big win too. I mean, not a big win, but a convincing win.
And you expect Manny to be a key contributor. I think what you're watching spring training for is to see who the other guys that might be contributors to the team are going to be. And first guy to step up in that category, I thought, was Gavin Sheets, who had a pair of very well struck doubles in that first game on Friday. He competes likely for like a designated hitter spot with the San Diego Padres. And we haven't really talked much about Gavin Sheets, one of those minor league invite signings to camp after he was let go by the White Sox. But I do remember when he was coming up a few years ago and people talking about, Gavin Sheets, could be a good player, and then just, wasn't getting it going, it kind of was on the wrong downward track instead of the upward track. And he talked to, I don't know if it was AJ Cassavell or Jeff Sanders, but over the weekend, and talked about how, he kept tinkering and they had change his swing, and now he's just trying to go back to what helped him get to the big leagues in the first place.
Yeah.
Get back to his basics, back to what brought him to the big leagues in the first place. And you get at least the idea. I mean, I'm not expecting an all-star season from Gavin Sheets, but if he can swing the stick like he did in that game on Friday, he could help the San Diego Padres this year.
He's got pop. I mean, that's the one thing that's never been in doubt about Gavin Sheets is he's got pop. So he looked really good, man. And he just said, yeah, trying to get back to what made me have success for 2 years. What I got away from a little bit. Back to the basics. It feels good. Feel like I've come into camp in the spot where I'm not searching for things. And yeah, man, it's going to be tight. I mean, there's going to be some opportunity on the bench, and but to have a guy that's swings it from the left side, Benny, and has some pop like that, he looked really impressive. It's spring training, but Manny's home run. It's great. Spring training. This is kind of what you look for, though, in this time before the season is guys that are putting together good ABs. Oscar Gonzalez is another guy that is putting together some really good ABs. It's got a lot of pop. So I was getting texts from buddies going, is that the guy that's going to force his way onto the roster? And yeah, there was a lot to like about what you saw from the Padres. Actually, every day. I mean, every day. They did lose to the Dodgers yesterday, but there was a lot to like about that game. We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
You're right. It's hard to evaluate, especially like pitchers. Like first game, 9 innings, 9 different pitchers.
Yeah.
They only gave up 2 hits the whole game. Now, again, you're facing a team that hasn't swung a bat in a real game situation for months and months. But a lot of guys were interesting as they came out. Now, the second game, you had more of a regular lineup for the Padres, including Luis Arraez, who I instantly looked exactly like Luis Arraez. First 2 at-bats, line drive singles.
Yep.
Do you think he'll sway people that think he's a little overrated and too highly valued when a healthy Luis Ariz for a full season goes out there and hits like he hits?
I don't, because I think that the year he hit 353 or whatever, people are like, one-trick pony. I mean, it's, again, like, just go stand in a box at any league, and then just tell me how easy it is and how invaluable it is to have a guy that can do that. I mean, it's just insane. And so, Paulie, I think the guy could hit 400. And there'll be a whole contingent of fans
look at his slug.
He's slugging his crap. He doesn't walk enough. And, he needs to get on base more, 100%. But, I mean, he is such an elite hitter. And again, when he's healthy, he is incredible to watch. Is he primarily a singles hitter? Yes, he is, primarily. But, God bless, dude. Guys that get knocks, guys like him, that they wear pitchers down. It's not just what his numbers look like at the end of the game or at the end of the season. It is, what does he bring? What does he show, Ben, the next guy behind him? What does he show the other guys? How valuable has he been to Jackson Merrill in helping Jackson Merrill learn how to be a great hitter, right? I think all of these things, it's what makes him such a great addition to the team. Am I paying him $30 million a year? No, I'm not. If I'm a team, I'm not paying him that. He's not worth 30. That echelon is reserved for the Acuñas, the Tatis, the guys like that, the game changers, the 35 to 40 home run pop. Luis Ariz is really, really good at the hardest thing there is to do in the game. He's really good at it. He doesn't hit gaps a lot. He doesn't hit for a ton of power. He can hit doubles. He doesn't run the bases well. He doesn't play defense. I get it. So I guess by definition, you could call him a one-trick pony. But you know what that pony can do? You know what that trick is? That pony can do 6 backflips in a row. I mean, it's a pretty cool trick that one-trick pony does.
I will repeat what I said last week, though. The Padres have kind of made some noise to Luis that they want him to walk more. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think his skill set. He's too good. He's honestly too skilled to ever really walk. How many guys walk without ever swinging the bat? Like, usually when you walk, you foul a pitch off at some point during the at-bat.
You grind one out.
You swing and miss one. You get to a 3-2 count. You draw the walk. That's how most walks go in the big leagues. When Luis Ariz swings, he puts the ball in play. So really the only way for him to walk regularly is to never swing.
Not never.
Not
It's not
never,
never.
but pretty rarely.
But so the thing is this is what he's good at, and it's what he got away from a little bit last year. But I do think the jumpiness last year, Benny, maybe that's the word for not being as locked in. When your thumb is screaming at you, and you only have like a couple of opportunities to get a good swing off, and you just can't get anything behind it because you're injured. I think a healthy Luis Ariz, he has the ability to spoil that pitch away, right? He can spoil it. He can spoil it. You may swing 7-8 times.
He usually gets his walks.
And that's when he gets his walks.
He spoils a couple of those, and eventually he does get on base. But like I said last week, I think his on-base percentage increased this year, and I do expect him to get on more. Will come from a higher average,
but it's
more than a ton more walks.
Edgar makes a great point. Everyone that's clamoring for a lot more walks for Luis Ariz, boy, they hated it when Juan Soto walked. They hated it.
Oh, my God. You were giving up a home run when Juan Soto walked?
He doesn't swing at bad pitches. He does not swing at bad pitches. And if he doesn't see one that he likes, that he can do damage with.
But that nice little debut on Saturday.
The point is, you feel like the likely best case scenario for Luis Ariz is he gets a single, and he's standing on first base.
Yeah.
A walk does the exact same thing. With Juan Soto, you feel like there's a lot of scenarios where he gets a double, a home run, and he takes the walk, and you feel like, I just gave up a base or 2 bases or 3 bases.
But when you watch Juan Soto hit, was he letting cookies go? No. I mean, he would only swing at his pitch, and he would not expand the zone. And I'm not insulting anybody when I say this. To the casual fan, you can't just go up there and go, I'm going to hit a home run, right? You got to have the right pitch, the pitch that's in your zone that you can do damage with. And for Soto, he's like, no, I'm not going to swing at that.
Jackson Merrill had a 2-run single in that game on Saturday. Matt Waldron started through some more knuckleballs in that game as well. We can talk about that, but I want to get into yesterday's game at the Dodgers as well. We'll do that after a quick check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, what happened? We started out so quiet on our roads. Now we've got numerous problems. Northbound 5 before Claremont Drive. Collision was blocking the 3 or 4 left lanes. Looks like they managed to clear that, but you're still going to see quite a backup. That's northbound 5 before Claremont Drive. And on southbound 5 before the 52, there's a collision involving a couple vehicles. One's over the right shoulder, one in the center divide. Northbound side of the 805 before Nobel. Collision over to the right shoulder. And you got a crash on southbound 805 right before Governor. Not showing if any lanes are blocked. Now South 15 jumping into the act. Got this stalled vehicle on the Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So after a couple of home games on Friday and Saturday, the Padres went to Glendale yesterday and brought a decidedly minor league lineup for their only spring training meeting against the Dodgers. They just, they weren't interested in dragging their stars down the road to face L.A. So what ended up, though, was a great opportunity. For the first time, Ethan Salas and Leonidas DeVries got to start a spring training game for the San Diego Padres, and both of them contributed. Ethan Salas had an RBI double that gave the Padres the lead.
Smoked.
Really, really well-struck ball to center field yesterday in the second inning. Leo went 0 for 3, but had a really nice play in the first inning to get Mookie Betts at first base, sliding into the hole with a really strong throw over to first.
How about that cannon that he unleashed from deep shortstop that just was on a rope over to first base? Yeah, man, he's a really good prospect, dude. He's a really, really slick prospect. And if you're Xander Bogaerts, it's going to be a couple years, but that's the guy. You don't trade a guy like that. That's the one that you sit on. That's your shortstop of the future, in my opinion. Now, we said that about 4 guys on our team, and they all end up in the outfield. Maybe he's our left fielder of the future, but for now, Benny, you watch how he carries himself, how he picks it and throws it. I'm looking at him going, that's my guy. That's my guy up the middle for the rest of his career.
And the game was decided late. When the minor leaguers were in there, the Dodgers scored 5 in the 8th inning and beat the Padres 8-3. But you did see a few of the Dodgers regulars early, including the return of Dustin May to the mound. He just threw the 1 inning after the horrible, not only elbow injury, but the torn esophagus last year.
Did we ever talk about that? Really? Like in depth?
Like we talked a little bit about it because he said he tore his esophagus on lettuce.
That's right.
Last
Salad.
year. I said kale is sharp.
That's
There's
true.
no doubt
You did
about
say that.
But he was very fired up. Probably too fired up for a spring training game, but I will actually allow it considering what he had to come back from last year. I'm sure it felt good for him to be back on the mound, even in a spring training situation. Finished with a strikeout of Oscar Gonzalez, I think, to end the first inning.
He's nasty.
But
he's always been nasty.
It's a good experience. It's a good crowd. You could hear the Dodgers fans there.
God.
In fact, we will have one of those Dodgers fans that was at the game coming up. And don't do this.
Hey, Dodger fans listening, you're never beating the allegations. You're never beating them. I'm sorry.
We'll have more updates on the Padres and their injuries in the first week of spring training as well. And yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Aztecs. So, you like it or not, I'm going to get to do it when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Couldn't have written a worse script for the San Diego State Aztecs on Saturday night. If the SDFC game was the perfect script for the opening game in franchise history, yeah, what happened to the Aztecs in Logan, Utah was the exact opposite of what Brian Dutcher would have wanted. Welcome back. It is Ben and Woods, hour number 2. So I'll get a little basketball Ben on you, but I think you can follow me here, Woods. Utah State plays a 2-3, kind of a very specialized zone defense. And the Aztecs had some success against it, then struggled against it in the first meeting when Utah State rallied and beat them at Viejas Arena. The best way to beat a zone defense like that is to have a big man on the high post. So like right there by the free throw line,
Sure.
He jumps out, you get it into the middle, and then he's got, and if he's
Triple
a good
threat,
and if he's a good passer, which Magoon Gwath is a great passer for a 7-footer, you've got all sorts of options. You've got guys cutting to the basket for dunks. You've got guys cutting to the corners for open three-pointers. If you can get it into him.
Is that like the triangle kind of like?
It's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit like Phil Jackson's triangle.
All we
offense,
face
yeah.
in adult league is 2-3 zones.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all you face. And I always go up to the free throw line, and then if the guards crash on you up top, a wing is open for a 3.
Got it.
If the guys down low try to run up and get you, then somebody's cutting towards the basket, should be wide open. You can pass, dribble, or shoot. Triple threat.
So Magoon has been the Aztecs' best player over the last probably about month now. And I guarantee you that the entire, few days going into that game, the whole strategy was built around him and getting to that high post and all the different options. And for Brian Dutcher to lose him about 2 minutes into the game to a knee injury, which they called a hyperextended knee, but they're still waiting on the results from the MRI. And I'm not sensing a lot of optimism. I mean, he's already ruled him out for tomorrow's game against New Mexico. There's a good chance that Magoon Gwath will not play again this season if he needs surgery.
A gut punch.
They had to completely change their game plan on Saturday. And you can see they fell behind by 14. And guess what? Because Dutch and his staff, they're good coaches and they have some good players, they figured out a couple different things to do. They cut it to 7 by halftime, and they actually battled back in the second half. Took a couple of leads, got up by 4, and I got my hopes up there at the end. They were up 4, less than 4 minutes to go, and I go, they're going to pull this out. This is going to be one of the great signature wins for this team. And then they just went ice cold at the end, and Utah State went on a 14-0 run or something.
God.
And closed out the Aztecs, swept the season series. Nick Boyd had such a great second half. He had 13 in the second half. B.J. Davis, they needed someone to step up and make some shots. And B.J. Davis, after not having done much the last month and a half, he got hot, and he hit some threes and really got him back into the game, and then fouled out on what was such a frustrating. I mean, there were so many things that frustrated me about that game. First of all, when Magoon got injured, the fact that the referees didn't stop the game. They should have stopped it when San Diego State was on offense.
He's on the ground writhing right?
in pain. San Diego State's going the other way. No one stops it. Then they miss, and then Utah State gets the rebound. No one stops it, and they just let
he's
Utah
still on
State.
the ground.
He's still on the ground. They let Utah State come right back and nearly fall on top of them as they get the layup. And I'm going, why are you not blowing the whistle and stopping the game? You got a player who's clearly hurt. He didn't get the wind knocked out of him. He's got a serious injury, and you're just letting it play on for like 30 seconds, going back and forth. What are you doing? You
never see that. I mean, guys,
referee malpractice.
Once they get a defensive rebound, you kind of clear the ball out. Then the ref calls my timeout. He stops the game. Make sure the kid's
I don't
okay.
know that I've ever seen Dutch as mad. Dutch doesn't get that mad often, but he was like running out onto the floor, screaming the official, "My guy's down. What are you doing here?" So that was frustrating.
Did you see in
He looked like this?
Yeah. Did you see in the UT they actually pulled one of Chris Ello's
quotes. Yeah,
tweets, not yours. Read. Do you have yours handy? Because I invented a new character that night. I was at a break at the Seals game, and I saw Ben's tweet, and I called him Ben Wren instead of Karen because you were hot.
Chris had the same thought, but I said, what did I say? Here it is. Where's my tweet?
We'll wait. It's fine. he has to weed through the several dozen
I know.
Aztecs tweets from that night.
That's an outrageous mistake by the officials not to stop play. Outrageous. They should be disciplined by the Mountain West for that.
That is a very Karen type tweet.
Chris, though, who is a longtime basketball referee, high school basketball games, if you didn't know that, you'll see him around town a couple of times a week, said that's an embarrassment to his profession that they wouldn't stop the game there. And
he said they embarrassed all of us who officiate. No excuse will do. And then they dragged this guy's personal life in the article.
In Mark Ziegler's 3 Thoughts column.
This is unreal.
He said the official who was standing like right over Magoon Gwath. This is wild.
It's wild, guys.
He used to be the police chief.
Larry Serrato.
Yeah, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And he got fired from his job because he had been like reffing college basketball games on company time, on city time. So they fired him, and then he took the job as Pittsburgh's police chief.
Yes.
And promised, I'm not going to ref games, but then quietly started doing it again and resigned from the post. The guy is addicted to refereeing games. He's twice losing his job.
He's a double dipper. The guy was making $187,000 as a police chief, and then he was getting about $3,000 a game. Again, one of those things where it's like, hey, bud, you make $190,000 as a police chief. You make $3,000 as a referee. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's something that will never cease to amaze me, ever. So yeah, they got fired from that gig as well. So they not only did they question the call, they go into a deep dive about his personal life as a very shady referee.
So ultimately, the Aztecs lost, and I know some fans were frustrated. I thought it was a pretty gutty performance just to come back and have a chance to win that game. They probably would have if 2 of Utah State's just like role players hadn't had career games. Dexter Akano went 7 for 9 on 3-pointers and scored 26 points. You know how many he scored in the first meeting when they beat San Diego State? None. 0. Guy's not one of their key players. He just had an insane night. They also had Dayton Albury, who scored 18 points. You know what he did? He went 12 of 13 from the free throw line. Guy's a 60% free throw shooter and makes 12 of 13. Unless a couple of Utah State, honestly, scrubs, don't have the games of their lives. San Diego State goes in and wins that game without Magoon Gwath anyway. But unfortunately, now they're going forward, likely without Gwath. They have to play New Mexico. If they don't win that game tomorrow at Viejas Arena, the likelihood of getting an at-large berth goes down to, really almost nothing. They'll be on the bubble still even if they lose because it's not a bad loss. But if they don't win the rest of their regular season games and get to the final of the Mountain West tournament, that'll keep them on the bubble. But usually at the end of the year at the bubble, you have a couple of teams that are, bid stealers that win their conference tournaments that wouldn't have got in, and that knocks like 3 or 4 teams out that would have been in. So San Diego State's in trouble now. They are officially in trouble to make the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, and again, you look at it and you go, okay. Not like you said, not the most terrible loss you can have.
No,
you said, but the loss is
you were expected to lose.
The loss is Magoon. That's the loss, and now having to basically revamp your entire offense on the fly with just a handful of games left and potentially a tournament is tough. All right. Question: If they don't go out and win, let's say that they don't do what they need to do, Ben, to get the at-large bid, and they don't win the Mountain West tournament, do they go to the other one?
The NIT?
Yeah, the NIT.
Probably. It's
I almost
good
said
experience.
NIL. They go to the NIT.
It's good experience for. They had so many freshmen and sophomores who've never played in postseason games. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, you do.
I think a lot of times the players do want to play.
You probably get a home game, and you get a chance to, make some revenue from that.
It's not the same.
It's not. It's, for this team that was loaded with young players, it's not like an insult. It's not like you were picked top 10 in the preseason and then just had a horrible year.
True.
And you're like, an NIT bid is.
What were they? They expect
insulting.
They were picked what?
Fourth in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
So they're only ranked a couple of times.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
They're probably looking at a 2 seed in the NIT.
You would play in it. Aztecs fans, you've gotten a little spoiled, and that'll feel like a real disappointment if you're there. But I think it's good for the players to at least get some postseason experience.
Players usually like whether it's the NIT or they have another one as well. Like
Players like to play.
the players like to play.
Yeah,
they want to keep it rolling as long as possible, even if it's not the main tournament.
Yeah.
But as a fan, it's
yeah.
hard to get up for the NIT.
It's still Dutch. I mean, if Miles Bird's been struggling, he's 1 for 9 on threes. If he could get going like he was early in the season again, that could make up for, maybe some of Magoon's loss. But right now, I'm not overly optimistic, unfortunately. The good news is very optimistic about UCSD's chances making the NCAA tournament.
Which will be fun, too, yeah.
They absolutely obliterated Hawaii on Saturday night, 83-44. It was their biggest Big West win in school history, their 9th straight win for the Tritons. They're now 24-4, 12-2 in the Big West. They're certainly going to get one of those top 2 seeds, so they're only going to need to win those 2 games to get into the NCAA tournament, and there's a chance – even if they didn't, even if they lost in the final, they could get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Their next game is at Cal State Northridge on Thursday. And I'll just throw in, unfortunately, it's been a rough season for the other college basketball team in town. USD lost their 15th straight game on Saturday to Oregon
15
State.
straight.
15 in a row. Yeah, it's been rough for Steve Lavin. I don't know what they're going to do about that program. I like everyone over there at USD, but men's basketball has had a rough year. Women's basketball, they just fired Cindy Fisher, who's been their long-time, very successful head coach. And unfortunately for Brock Ungrich, baseball coach, they're off to an 0-7 start. They got swept again.
Ben and Woods curse,
over
and
the
I
weekend
fear. I
at
do fear the
Arizona.
Ben and Woods curse.
It's I feel bad. It's been a really, really rough few weeks here for the USD athletic program.
Nowhere to go but up, my friends.
So, yeah, just turning it around. But, unfortunately, the things have been struggling over there.
Hey.
So.
At least we have SDFC. How about that? 1-0, everybody.
There you go.
1-0. How
There
about
you go.
that?
Yeah, we'll talk more SDFC coming up. Also, Don't Do This is in our next segment, including the aforementioned Dodger fan at the game yesterday who was very easy to hear and had no idea what she was talking about.
Very common. Very casual.
Hi, Woods.
Hi, Ben. You're waiting for me now.
I am.
I thought we were a little early, but I'll go ahead and take my opportunity here to tell you about QC Kinetics. As I mentioned in the first break of the day, I'm going to be going down and shooting a little commercial with them today, a television commercial. And when they asked me to do it, I said, no question. You guys have changed my life dramatically. A couple of years ago, could not do anything. My hands were in such bad shape, did not really know what the problem was. Somebody recommended QC Kinetics. I went in. I was skeptical. I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. But, man, I went in and got 5 treatments on each hand and was playing baseball yesterday, albeit not very well. Played golf, played guitar, able to pick my kids up, throw them around, do all the things that I love to do that I could not do before, and that is 100%. 100% because of the treatments I got at QC Kinetics. So if you're feeling the joint pain, your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, your wrists, like I did, just call QC Kinetics today at 619-614-PAIN. Joint pain does not get better with time. Before it gets absolutely debilitating and you have to really quit doing all the things that you love to do, go see if you're a candidate for these life-changing regenerative treatments. They got a location in Torrey Hills and one in Hillcrest. Get a free consultation when you call 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics. Once again, 619-614-PAIN.
Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. Well, I will start with a story that might sound a little familiar for San Diego State fans. We talked last week about how Big 12 teams are starting to get the old, the trip to BYU and how difficult it is to play at altitude that Mountain West teams have known for so long. The reverse, though, has started to happen. BYU traveled to Arizona last week to take on the Wildcats, and during the game, a video emerged of Arizona fans chanting, an expletive followed by Mormons toward BYU players, and that was obviously became a story. The Arizona
like fudge.
Yes, the Mormons.
Oh, wow, that's hardcore.
Obviously, that
the
that was
school
not,
had to issue an
yes,
apology.
the school has, on behalf of the University of Arizona Athletic Department, we apologize to BYU, their student athletes, coaches, and fans. The chant is not reflective of who we are and should not have happened, from the athletic director Desiree Reed-Francois. This, of course, should sound very familiar because when BYU used to be in the Mountain West, the show got in some national hot water for somewhat similar off-color chants. And, Paulie, you were a student back then. Do you remember anything about the days of BYU visiting Viejas Arena?
Remember any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody was very polite and respectful
yes.
and dressed accordingly. And
you didn't wear a bicycle helmet?
I don't think San Diego State had to issue too
game?
many apologies for any games I was at, so I don't know what you're talking about.
At least two that I remember just from covering it back in the day when San Diego State got in trouble for just about the exact same thing that
I don't
Arizona
endorse that at all.
is
I
getting
think
in trouble for right now.
I think BYU is a fine university.
Fine people.
Great historical sports program there, and I have nothing bad to say about
Arizona.
BYU.
The karma hit them good because BYU pulled off the 96-95 upset on the road on Saturday night in Tucson.
They're fine middle-aged men.
I
out there
never
playing
said one
basketball
bad
in
thing about
college.
Jimmer Fredette.
Dude, it wouldn't matter where that guy went. That guy deserved every bit of grief that he got.
Jimmer.
He is,
how could you not?
But my God, it was kind of fun. Like, not fun, but you appreciated what you were watching.
Of course.
I mean, to watch a college basketball player drop like 52 points. I saw him drop in like the game. It was the Mountain West tournament. They were playing before San Diego State, so we got there early, and he dropped like 50. And that never happens in college basketball.
Arguably the greatest college basketball player.
He was
of all
unbelievable.
Time. That had zero success
Correct.
in the NBA.
Where's he play now?
He played in China
played
for a
overseas,
while.
made a lot
I don't
of
know
money.
if he's still
He
there.
had like a
but
shoe deal over there. Like he was.
I think he was trying to do that Olympic 3-on-3, if I remember correctly, was his next thing. But as a college basketball player, Jimmer was incredible. He was like Steph Curry before Steph Curry. He was absolutely
that was when San Diego
incredible.
State, and they were both ranked in like the top 5. And I had friends from other parts of the country going, "Look, I'm pulling for you guys, of course.
I was at
but
the
I'm
game
jealous that you get to watch
the
Jimmer
game at Viejas
play."
Arena when he took on Kawhi. It was like an 11 a.m. start on national television. BYU won it, but it was the best college basketball.
That was the game I had to camp out for like 5 days for
environment I have
tickets.
ever been in. And then when they came back and beat him in the Mountain West tournament, and Kawhi actually showed some emotion after the game,
Clapping right in his face.
One of my favorite sports moments in San Diego history.
Your two little sexual dance over the lore of SDFC. Is it over yet?
Yes.
Can I get to what the
You
people
can
really want to
go
hear
ahead.
now?
Go ahead.
And it's the drunk, casual Dodger fan in the stands. That was like watching two people make love in here just
yes.
now. Good Lord.
Forget one of the most fun experiences of our lives of a sporting event. Let's get to some spring training baseball.
100%, dude. And here's the funny part. I did not see this from, local. It's actually a tweet that I would send had I heard it. I saw it from Talkin' Baseball. The John Boy guys, actually, the ones that picked up on it, is the first that I saw. And it said, fan at the Dodgers-Padres game. Well, she thinks she's yelling at Ha-Sung Kim, not Hi-Sung Kim.
On her own team.
On her own team, who you just
Ha-Sung
signed.
Kim.
Yeah, completely different player. Entirely, completely different human being. He's actually batting from the left side. So that's one thing that you're going to want to
Hassan Kim, he
notice.
signed with the the Rays.
Yeah, he's a Ray. So this is
not in the Cactus League.
pretty fantastic audio.
Son Kim a swing and a miss. Kim 1 for 1. Infield single in the 4th. Walked
Come on, Kim is okay.
in the 6th.
On the better team now. Come on, Kim, you can actually get a ring. What you got? Show us what you got.
1-1. A swing and a miss there.
She
Show us what you got.
somebody tweeted also.
Maybe she was dissing his old Korean team, possibly. I'm not sure.
Did he not win any rings? The little brother of the KBO.
I mean, you're never sorry. I've said it for years. It's the most casual fan base I've ever run across. It's not close. It's not close.
I mean, is it somewhat confusing that there's a Ha-Sung Kim and a Ha-Sung?
You know when it was confusing? It was confusing for about 20 seconds when you said, "Hey, you know that they're the Padres may even be looking at a guy named Ha-Sung Kim," and we all remarked, "Oh wow, that's interesting." And then
we figured it out.
Then you figure it out, and your team signs this guy. You think you'd want to know who it was, and it's so funny and it's so true, and they got just summarily dragged in the comments. I couldn't even believe it. This did not come from me. This comes from a national media outlet. I thought it was priceless.
Adam says, was it confusing that there were 2 Will Smiths? Yes, she still thinks that the Bad Boys Will Smith is the catcher, for her team.
Bro, I was dying. I was absolutely dying. And I promise you, she's not the only one.
All right, finally a little do this. And
DD mega doo-doo.
It's kind of visual, but a great moment after SDFC's win over the LA Galaxy last night. Chicky Lozano goes over to the stands, and there's a family there that's right, trying to get an autograph, trying to get a picture. They got their camera out, but the little boy, he grabs him kind of by the face, and the kid is losing his mind. He's like crying.
Weeping.
He's so excited he is crying. And then Chucky starts taking his jersey off to hand it to him, and he starts kind of convulsing, like
this is really happening.
Like
oh my
he's having
god!
a seizure. He's shaking. He is so happy and so excited, making a lifetime memory, and it's just so cool that first game. Chucky as part of the
slaps him on the face a little bit. It's so cute.
It's such a cute, amazing moment at the end of the game last night, and it was such a special night for San Diego sports fans. I was impressed. Did you see the shots of the visitors supporters section?
Oh my God!
And they have about 1,000 seats available for road teams. It's only about a 25,000 seat stadium up there in Carson. About 1,000 up at the top in the corner are set aside for the road team. And it was absolutely packed. And by the way, the rest of the stadium, because they all arrived early, the rest of the stadium was empty. And you had the sections of the SDFC supporters completely jam-packed with no one else in the stadium. I don't know how long that was before the game started, but it was a very cool visual. You could hear them during the game. They kept showing them just how into it they were. A team that's never played a game before to engender that kind of passion was really awesome last night.
Jay to the JO says, that'll be me when I finally meet Stephen Woods. Jay, you come to our opening day broadcast and you walk up to me and introduce yourself, I will give you the shirt off my back. Right? Just like Chick, I'll slap you in the face.
Put my hand on your face.
But I want the same reaction from you as that little kid. I want you like you met a beetle. You know what I mean? But I'll rip my shirt off. You know you can have my shirt. It was great. It was great. What a beautiful night.
And that was Don't and Do This for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I want to talk more about SDFC when we come back. As I'm trying to get more into soccer, Woods, I actually do see a lot of parallels for baseball. Sure. We've got a baseball audience here. Clearly, different sports, very different skill sets, but in some ways, I think they may be the most similar sports to each other. And I want to talk a little bit about that. We'll talk more about the Padres as well, dealing with some injuries at spring training early on. Every team does, but you want to keep an eye on these things and see where you actually stand. So we'll talk about all of that coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
First, though, on a Monday morning, want to talk about our place to play cards in San Diego. It is 7 Mile Casino. It is a short drive. You hop on the 5 freeway, you head down to Chula Vista, 7 minutes from downtown. You are sitting down and playing cards. Contrast that with some of the other card rooms in town. You got to head out deep into the East County, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and don't forget, you also have to drive back when you're done. So that's an hour and a half to 2 hours in the car where you could actually be enjoying yourself playing cards at the best and most upscale card room in San Diego.
Exactly right. Doesn't feel like a dingy card room when you walk in. It's bright. It's airy. They got an outdoor patio that's phenomenal. Looks right out over San Diego Bay. Super easy to get to. Super easy to park. All of it. It's just we like things easy. I know I do, man. I want to get in. I want to get out. Go get my lunch, whatever it may be. Play some California-style blackjack. That's the place to do it. 7 Mile Casino with baseball season starting up. It's 7 minutes from Petco Park. Great place to pregame. Great place for after the game as well. Just go have a good time.
And when the weather is like this, that patio is
it's unreal.
Beatable. Right on San Diego Bay. You're looking out over to Coronado. I think you can see Don Orsillo's house.
Maybe.
Right from 7 Mile Casino.
You might see him in his boat.
You might actually see him out on the bay fishing a little bit. It's 7 Mile Casino. It's our place. Make it yours as well at 7 Mile Casino. Just 7 minutes from downtown. Looking in our chat. Interesting take here, Ben. Let's see where you go with it. LOL. My comparison of soccer to baseball. I do want to explain myself for sure. First, I will remind everybody that our Slam Dunk in Vegas national contest is still going on. Running out of time, but you still have a chance to qualify for the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into our national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus $20,000 in cash. All right, I get that baseball and soccer look very different. Obviously, the skill sets, baseball is all about stick and ball and making contact. Soccer is all about running around and using your feet. So they're very different in terms of what kind of athlete is going to be successful, likely in the sport. But if you look at the other major sports, like basketball and football, I think clearly there's a kinship between baseball and soccer and their fans. And here's why I say this, Woods, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. If you are truly a baseball fan, you can very much appreciate a well-pitched, low-scoring game. It can be 0-0 after 3 or 4 innings, but you have a sense of which team is, close to breaking through. Hey, they've been putting some runners on. They've been having some chances. Yeah, it didn't work out. They didn't come through with the big hit. But the other pitcher's just been dominant, though. Nothing's happening at all. And you feel like one team's ready to break through. Now, does it always happen? No. Sometimes the team that was dominated for the first 3 or 4 innings is the one that ends up scoring 4 in the 4th inning.
Well, you saw all the chances that LAFC had in the last few minutes of the game, and it's essentially you're like, oh my God, they loaded the bases with nobody out. They're definitely going to score here, and they didn't.
And ultimately, in both sports, baseball and soccer, the better team is going to win the majority of the time. But a lot of the time in baseball and a lot of the time in soccer, you can win a game where you weren't the better team.
Yeah, because Marlins can go out and beat the Dodgers. You know,
the ball bounces your way. On that one chance that you had, the ball bounces right. You find a goal where the other team may pepper the goalie with 6 shots and just can't find the back of the net for a certain game.
Galaxy, not LAFC. I'm going to do that all year.
That's true. There's a whole nother team that's called LAFC. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they get 2 teams? Sorry.
Just like they have in every other sport.
Exactly.
But in that sense, I think there really is a similar feeling. Now, do I have the knowledge and, depth of information about soccer that I do about baseball yet? I do not. But, even watching last night's SDFC game, I got the sense that it was pretty evenly matched in that first half. You're right. Galaxy. Now you're doing it.
Oh, my God.
This is going to be an epidemic on this program. I'm going to tell you right now.
It's definitely a problem now. You got it in my head. Yeah, you got the sense. And would I have been shocked late in the game after San Diego FC took a 1-0 lead, but were unable to – they had chances to extend that lead a couple of times, and they didn't. Would I have been shocked if the Galaxy had scored the equalizer or even scored a couple of times and pulled out a home 2-1 win? I would not, and I would have felt, that's a terrible result for SDFC in their first game. But that's sometimes how soccer goes, and that's sometimes how baseball goes. You're up 1-2-0. You played well for 8 innings, and guess what? A relief pitcher comes in, gives up a 3-run home run, and you lose 3-2.
Yeah, man.
It's part of the sport.
Well, and look at the San Diego Padres on paper against the Los Angeles Angels or the Colorado Rockies. Shouldn't lose much to those guys. It does happen.
And you watch those cup games in England where one of the third division team takes on a Premier League team, and 9 out of 10 the Premier League team blows their doors off, and it's 6-1. But every once in a while, that other team comes up with a 1-0 win. Somehow, some way, everything works out perfectly, and you pull off that giant upset. And that happens in baseball as well. The A's, they beat the Dodgers in a game, in a series.
Sure.
Of course, it happens.
It happens all the time.
It's the kind of sport that I don't want to say that luck is, because it's not luck.
It's skill, but
it's absolutely skill. But over the course of a long season, luck is going to determine a few of those games. No doubt about it.
You can't, again, not to take one single solitary thing away from what the LA Dodgers accomplished last year. Nothing. This takes nothing away from it. But you can't tell me you didn't get lucky in the 5th inning. You can't. That had nothing to do with your skill. You got lucky, and you capitalized, and you finished the job. Aaron Judge had not dropped a ball in center field all season long. Ball hit him right in the palm of the glove. He dropped it. Anthony Rizzo and Garrett Cole. Nobody decides to cover the bag. You got lucky. Now, again, you had to grind. You had to battle. You had 2 pitchers. You had a bullpen that was, there's 3 guys in there. Their arms right now still is hamburger meat. You played your ass off, and I'm not taking anything away from you. But you can't tell me there wasn't some luck involved.
And San Diego FC got lucky on that first goal. You didn't expect a turnover right there in that situation. They weren't applying incredible pressure that forced it into it. It was a mistake. The goalie kicked it a little hard, bounced off the defender's leg right to the right spot to feed a wide open Anders Dreyer and score that first goal.
Yeah.
There's some luck involved in that.
Right place, right time.
You have to put yourself in the right place at the right time. Just like in baseball, you gotta put yourself in the opportunity to come through with runners in scoring position. But you're not always going to do it. There's bloop singles and there's 3-run homers. And bloop singles win a lot of games. It doesn't mean you beat the pitcher. Kind of means you got lucky in that situation, but you gave yourself the opportunity to get lucky enough times that maybe you come through, and sometimes you don't. So in that way, I think there is a potential kinship here in San Diego for baseball fans to also adopt soccer and adopt this team and, get into the sport in a way. Because I admit it. I saw the 0-0. No shots on goal in the first half. This is the knock that soccer takes sometimes from American sports fans. And if you're an NFL fan or you're a basketball fan and you expect high-scoring action, back and forth, up and down, lots of points, maybe you're not going to totally get into soccer. But from baseball fans' perspective, I expect a little bit more. I go, you know what it's like to watch a game.
Yeah, the 0-0
like
game.
The gods are against you.
100%.
And it hasn't been fair, and this is not a just result in this game. Because that happens all the time in a baseball season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's actually a pretty decent take, Benny. It's not like other sports, certainly. The one thing that I think, sitting down and watching the game last night, and Hannah made the comment too. She goes, "My God, that field is big." I go, "It really is." We had a guy on a breakaway. You can literally see the guy just run out of gas. He's like, "I'm done." And he just kicks it down into their zone. And why? Because he just ran seemingly 300 yards on a dead sprint, and it's just massive. So I obviously. Watching it exhausts me physically. Watching how much those guys have to move around, how little you're able to sub in and out. That would make all the difference for me. I didn't see any kooky offsides or anything like that made me want to pull my hair out or anything like that. We'll get those, I'm sure, this season. But all in all, man, what an enjoyable first game.
In that sense, it's very opposite of baseball. If you're a designated hitter and you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, you may not run 50 yards the entire day.
The whole game. Which is my favorite part about the game, to be honest with you. Like yesterday, I didn't even have to run. All right? So that was pretty great. Had 3 ABs, ran about 15 feet, and that was it. It was great.
All right, let's check traffic. I want to talk about some of the injuries the Padres are dealing with. We got some updates on what's going on at spring training, and we'll do that next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring. Got a few things going on here, guys. Tow truck is rolling up to get a stalled vehicle off the Imperial Avenue off-ramp northbound 805. Also on the Coronado Bridge, heading over to the island just before the old toll plaza. We're getting reports of a crash, not showing if any lanes are blocked. South 5 Coastline before La Costa, collision involving a couple vehicles. Looks like one's in the center divide and one is blocking the fast lane. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Benner Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now, we'll start here with probably the guy who wasn't competing for a roster spot. But if you had heard the name Cole Paplum before yesterday, it might have been because you saw the story from last year when he got hit by a line drive in the face. And unfortunately, It happened again yesterday during the Padres-Dodgers game. Took one right to the head. I don't know what's going on in Glendale. That's the second time in 3 days
Bobby Miller
that a pitcher has taken an absolute screamer
missile
up the middle over like 100 miles an hour right to the dome. And according to the reports, he knew who he was and where he was. I saw Ruben Niebla tweeting later, though, prayers to him, his family. Certainly something, if you're in that organization, you just, it's always the scariest thing in baseball.
I got hit in the stomach with a metal bat up the middle through a probably a hanging slider, and the guy hit it right up the middle, right off my gut. And you don't feel it for a second. I mean, you pick up the ball and throw to first, and then after, you're like, that. If that was 6 inches higher, it's hitting me in the throat. It is really terrifying. And as our kids get older, and, Bo really wants to pitch. My 7-year-old really, really wants to get on the bump at some point. All it's going to take is one of those. And it is just makes mom nervous, makes dad nervous, makes everybody nervous. It is, I don't know what, there's no way to combat it, because that's exactly what you teach that kids to do, is you knock his hat off. That's the visualization of hit the ball hard up the middle is what we've all been told our entire lives. And it's just one of those freak accidents, man. There are guys that go through their whole career, Ben, never even take one off the foot, never even really happens. They jump over it, they avoid it, whatever. But this is twice for him. How does he get back on the bump and go out and throw it and do it again, knowing that that's possible?
I got asked.
And not only for him, not only possible, likely.
I got asked at work last night. Someone said, "Can't the pitchers wear helmets like
they tried that big goofy hat,
a big hat, and no one really sticks with it. Just like football players won't wear the extra padding because it kind of looks dumb.
Yeah.
And maybe that makes their head feel lopsided, or messes up their mechanics. I do understand that that's a personal preference thing, but there's no way to 100% guarantee safety on a baseball field, especially when they're hitting the ball so hard.
The only thing I can think of for a pitcher is some sort of face mask type situation, which I think you could still pitch with some sort of, the way that things are now. It's
like
not
a catcher's mask?
Yes, but not an actual
Right.
big, heavy-ass catcher's mask. Some sort of shield that you could still pitch through and play through that wouldn't be entirely cumbersome.
Almost like the regular batting helmets that they have the attachments that you can put the face guard over.
There's got to be something there, because
Or like when we were in the pandemic and they had that plastic just screen over people's faces.
over their
that they could
face.
wear.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much that would do, but there's got to be something that they could do. Yeah, the girls that play fast pitch softball, they all have the cages.
they do.
They wear full on cages
they
and
do.
helmets, and for good reason. They're like 15 feet away from home plate. I mean, they're right on top of the plate. I don't know how those girls do it. They're really impressive. But yeah, you may get to the point with baseball players, though. Remember when Alex Torres wore the hat? He got mocked. I mocked him. It looked ridiculous.
The Marvin the Martian.
Yes, it looked ridiculous, and I get it. It's for safety,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't have mocked it. But I'm also a human being, and I'll admit my faults. That I laughed hysterically, and when he went out and took the mound with that thing, I went, never. I'd rather get hit in the face. But you say that until it happens to you or your kid. But yeah, it's definitely something that baseball needs to take a look at.
Meanwhile, there are a couple of pitchers that you did expect to either be on the team in the bullpen or battling for a bullpen spot who are also dealing with injuries. Remember when I said someone's going to show up at spring training, hopefully not one of the starting pitchers like you, Darvish, and we're going to find out, they're dealing with something.
Yeah, there's something going on.
It turns out that person was Brian Hoeing, who showed up dealing with a sore shoulder. Hopefully, Padres think that he can start throwing this week, and if he does, should be able to build himself up enough by the start of the season to be a part of the bullpen. But if he doesn't, if there's any setbacks at this point, that could be a concern. Hoeing was going to be counted on as probably a good bulk, middle reliever for the Padres this year, a guy who could eat a couple of innings if they ever needed to do a bullpen day. He's probably a guy they'd ask for maybe like 3 innings, so your longer reliever, and a really good one as well. Better than most teams have.
Big time.
Given the success that he's had. So he's an important part of this team.
It would be, look, if it's Brian Hoeing that starts the season on the IL, and I'm not saying that he will, but if he's not quite ready, Is it going to murder the San Diego Padres early? No, it's not. And now you look at a guy, Ben, like a Stephen Kolek, that was talked about maybe for the fifth spot in the rotation. Maybe he slides into a Brian Hoeing type role. They're fairly deep with arms right now. The one that bummed me out was Sean Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's got a walking boot on. He will be wearing that for at least the next week and a half. And so, yeah, it said it doesn't bode well for him breaking camp with the team, which is kind of a bummer. Don't know what he did.
It's a stress reaction, they said, which worries you because that's what they said about Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
It affected him all of last season, kept him out a really long time. It's one of those things that nothing but time and staying off of it is really going to, get back. And if you try to come back too soon, you could make it worse, and then just keep yourself out even longer. But he's such an electric.
I love that kid, dude.
Really
Again,
excited to hopefully talk to him when we go to spring training this week.
I definitely want to talk to him. I don't know if, what the policy is. If he's injured and doesn't want to talk about it, it's fine too. But I really want to meet him and talk to him too because he is an electric arm out of the Padres bullpen and really a guy I was looking forward to seeing make the team. And doesn't look great right now for him, but again, it's a long season. Get it right, get it healthy. We've got plenty of depth there. Fernando Tatis, too, was hit by the flu bug, and they're saying he could make his Cactus debut today or tomorrow.
That's not one that you're going to worry too much about.
No.
He'll be healthy, and he'll be fine.
Random note about Fernando Tatis. We were talking about it yesterday at the Tier 1 game in the dugout. Did not know it was official that he's now with Under Armour.
Yeah, a lot of the guys yesterday, the Tier 1s were talking about it. I guess he is officially an Under Armour athlete. Ben, did you know this?
I did not.
I don't
nothing. What was he before?
Well, he was with Adidas.
Then they dropped him.
They dropped him after he was suspended.
Right.
Smart move, Adidas. Mm-hmm. And then he was kind of a free agent, but he was wearing like custom Jordans and Nikes all the time. And he thought, it's a no-brainer. He's going to be part of Nike baseball. And I guess that was never official. And then I remember...
How do they drop that ball?
I don't know. And then I remember the first
shoes, though?
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Steph Curry's with them. Bryce Harper in baseball is with them. But, the first workouts that Tatis was a part of this spring, I was like looking at some of the pictures. I'm like, those shoes are sick. What are those? And I kind of zoomed in. I'm like, those are Steph Curry's.
Yeah.
Those are Under Armour's.
Yep. So
interesting.
He's with Under Armour.
I did not know that was the thing.
Paulie made the really good point in the dugout yesterday. He said, so Fernando gets dropped immediately by Adidas, and they kept Kanye West on for much longer. I'm going to go with Tati. Guy can't even get ringworm anymore. Guy gets a simple case of ringworm, and you're going to drop him? I will no longer be wearing
at one
Adidas.
point, you were able to buy Yeezys on Adidas' website.
Yes.
More recently than Tatis shoes.
Correct.
Like they dropped Tatis first.
You know that I abandoned my shoe brand as well because of Shohei. I'm no longer a New Balance. I wore New Balance cleats for
it's tough
20 years.
For your age, New Balances are very big player.
On
Son
brand.
of a bitch. So
do they not make Skechers baseball cleats that you can just slip into? You don't even have to bend over to put them on.
I had some spikes put on some nurses' orthopedic shoes. No, I went and I got new spikes because I'm not going to wear New Balance anymore.
I keep seeing those Skechers commercials about you don't even
Joe
have
Montana.
to bend over and put them on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of at that point. Yeah, really, I don't have to bend over to put my shoes on anymore.
When we start wearing Skechers, it's over, right? Like that's it. That's it. Mrs. Woods retires it. Like she's like, nope, never again. Like it's over for me if I start wearing.
But they're the company that's dedicated to comfort. Woods. Why would I want anything other than comfort at this point?
No, I'm with you. But no, I went and got some. I went and got some Nike Trouts on Saturday because I ditched my New Balance because of Shohei. That's how petty I am.
That's a bad endorsement when you're actually costing.
Yeah.
You're costing market share.
Correct.
By picking the wrong endorser,
bro. And you can't. Hey, by the way, you can't find a better cleat than New Balance. You just can't. I mean, they have all the different. I walked in and I go, oh my God, look at this. Look at the different varieties I had to choose from. I had to end up going with the Trouts, and I'll be honest with you, they weren't super comfortable yesterday in my first day, but I had to do it, man.
I wonder if Skechers makes golf cleats.
I bet you they do.
Actually, my golf cleats, abandon the shoelaces.
Yeah.
I have the
Oh man.
it's like a ratchet. You just turn a dial
Yeah.
on the back of the shoe and it tightens it. So
Yeah.
I don't have to tie.
So
the
you
shoe
ditched
every
the very
single time.
expensive ones I bought for you.
Yeah, they hurt my feet.
Very cool.
Sorry.
More money well spent.
They hurt my feet. What am I supposed to do? I
Wear
wore
them.
them like 20 times and they kept hurting my feet every single time.
Skechers.
I tried.
Please
They look
get
good.
some. I'm going
They
to get you
look
some
good.
Skechers for Christmas. Will you wear them?
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
you'll wear
I'll
them.
wear
Who
some.
am I
Are we gonna-
asking?
I don't care what I don't care.
Are we gonna play the video next that you sent
That
me?
I sent you,
over
we
the
have
weekend?
to. Trash talk. This is trash talk video, and I'd like to bring it back. Trash talk like this.
Coming up next with Ben Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Don't go.
Oh, yeah, halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for listening, man. All the Padres games over the weekend, too. Saw a lot of people tweeting about it. It's great. It's great that baseball's back. We're heading out tomorrow. Soon as we are off the air, we are driving out to Peoria, Arizona. We have just sent our list in for the players we'd like to talk to. Always a fun time of year. Yeah, hopefully we get them all. But man, if you got 3/4 of that list, it'd be a pretty successful week for us. So we're going to be doing live shows from Peoria on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Jam pack it in, man, and have as much fun as we can with these guys.
I had two people who came up to me and said their favorite week of Ben and Woods of the year is when we go to spring training.
It's probably mine too. Fantasy camp's great. I always have fun at fantasy camp, but we're running out to play, and this is business, man. You can actually sit down and try to get in these guys' heads a little bit, hear some funny stories, and have a good time with them. So it never ceases to amaze me because I am still kind of a little kid when it comes to baseball and being around baseball players. I don't think that's ever going to change. I will never be professional, right? I will always be a little bit. I will always be a little bit in awe when Jackson Merrill walks by.
I'm in awe too.
And he's a kid.
I hide it a little better than you do.
You do.
I'm still kind of in awe.
I still get that charge.
They're awe-inducing people. They're not like
that's
the rest
exactly
of us.
right.
They
are awe-inducing people, and when Manny walks by and says hello, I still am like, I get giddy about it. That's never going to change. I mean, it never will. It's the part of baseball. I mean, I remember a kid. Do you remember your first big leaguer you ever met? Ever?
Yep.
When you were a kid? Who was yours, Paulie?
I was probably 5 years old.
Yep.
First baseball game at the Kingdome in Seattle, and it was a utility player, little infield, little outfield. His name was Darren Bragg.
Remember him very well. Yeah, remember him very well.
Signed my crappy Mariners hat.
Changed your life.
And I remember that, 30 years later.
Changed your life.
I remember Tempe tossing me a baseball, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you were a kid?
Gary Templeton, yeah.
Like you were like leaning over?
I was on the first base side. He was running back in from shortstop and
flipped you a ball.
Tossed me a baseball. I wouldn't say I met him, but that was cool.
But that was good. Do you remember the first one you met? Shook his hand, said hello, or I mean, you were hanging out with Magic Johnson and stuff,
true.
so it was not that big a deal for you. My dad got me out of school in Connecticut. I was in 6th grade. Pulled me out of school for the day. We got on the train, went to New York City, went to Yankee Stadium, and I got to meet Dave Winfield. Very first big leaguer I ever met, and I lost my mind. And I remember there's a picture of us, me, my brother, my dad, Dave Winfield.
He's not just any big leaguer.
Correct.
Well. Not only Hall of Famer, but an imposing
his hand.
I'll
I'll never forget his hands. I mean, his hands. That was my little tiny, little delicate hands, and it just enveloped me. And he was as cool as could be. I've been watching him on TV and got to go meet him, and he signed a couple of baseballs for us. My brother and I actually took those baseballs into the street and hit batting practice with them. So my dad was none too pleased. I did get those balls replaced for him later in life. But yeah, man, I still feel that way when I'm around these guys. And, I've gotten ripped for it before. I don't care. I'm never going to change. I'm always going to be super kind of in awe of these dudes because I really respect what they're able to do. So it's always a fun week for me and for us, and really excited to bring you guys that coverage. And again, we leave tomorrow after the show. But not to slam the brakes on that and go in a totally different direction, but I think that's what we're going to do. Over the weekend, was on Instagram, just kind of scrolling around, and there's a video that pops up. And every time it pops up, I watch it and I laugh. And I think of Ben. That's who I think of the most. Yes, I think of you. And he was a mayor, and I think this happened my guess is it happened in the 70s, right, Ben? And his name was Mike Rizzo, and he gets confronted it's in Philly. He was the hard-charging, big-mouth icon of head-cracking in the 60s and 70s law enforcement in Philly. And the local news, Ben, goes out, and they want to interview him. And he had gotten in some trouble. And they grab him.
Outside of his home.
It's outside of his home. He's walking his dog. And they're like, Mr. Rizzo. They wanted to interview him. And he loses his mind. But I watched it. I sent it to Paulie this week, and I go, This makes me laugh every time I see it. We have to bring it on the show.
Old school trash talk.
It's old school trash talk. So these days, we see plenty of videos going around, and it's two guys in each other's face, and it's FU, and it's MF, and it's CS, and it's every other word you could
throwing punches.
I'd like to bring this type of trash talk back.
Away from me, you crumb.
That's
a challenge. Except I'll put my dog away, and I'll come back. And you got 1, 2, 3, and I'll do it along with you. In that back of that fence, just the 3 of us, 4 of us, me and you. Show you what kind of a man you are. You're less than a man. Okay? You're a crumb creep. And I wouldn't take that off of nobody. And there's 3 of you, and I'm by myself. And when it's over, there'll be nothing to it. Win or lose, okay? But you don't have the courage. You're a real crumb bum.
Yeah.
Put that on camera.
Put it on camera.
You're a crumb bum, the 3 of you, and I challenge you. You're a coward. You're a yellow sneak. And if you want to, now what I say, let's forget all the rules of this great country we live in. I will go back to that wall with the 3 of you.
Yeah.
Just me.
You're
a crumb creep coward.
All right, so this is my favorite part of it, right? So he starts with just crumb. You're a crumb. Then he goes into crumb bum. And then it expands into a crumb creep coward, which is really hard to say fast 3 times. You're a crumb creep coward. I went,
see?
Yeah, see, you crumb bum. I laughed.
You're yellow.
I laughed so freaking hard because I remember when I was a kid reading a book. I don't even remember what book. It was Encyclopedia Brown or something. And I remember they called one of the guys a crumb bum. And I was like, even we're talking back in the 80s, I was like, well, that sounds pretty stupid and doesn't sound super insulting. Give it to me again, Paulie. Listen to the progression. He gets madder and madder.
You crumb.
Just crumb.
That's a challenge, except I'll put my dog away, and I'll come back. And you got 1, 2, 3, and I'll do it along with you. In that back of that fence, just the 3 of us, 4 of us, me and you. Show you what kind of a man you are. You're less than a man. Okay? You're a crumb creep. And I wouldn't take that off of nobody. And there's 3 of you, and I'm by myself. And when it's over, there'll be nothing to it. Win or lose, okay? But you don't have the courage. You're a real crumb bum. Put that on camera. You're a crumb bum, the 3 of you. And I challenge you. You're a coward. You're a yellow sneak. And if you want to, now what I say, let's forget all the rules of this great country we live in. I will go back to that wall with the 3 of you. Just me. You're a crumb creep coward.
The best.
So
there's
only one person in the shot, one reporter.
He's got a cameraman and probably like a producer.
Okay.
I'm thinking, that are off
I didn't know
camera
if
there.
3 of yous was like some slang or something.
It's almost like old,
Ben, I'm going to fight you, all 3 of you.
Like old movies come to life. When he goes, yellow snake, I think like John Wayne.
Sure.
There's some
You're
sort of
yellow.
You're yellow. You're yellow. You're a coward. I thought a lot about the Wizard of Oz, Bert Lahr, the Cowardly Lion. You're a coward. You got no courage.
Yeah.
You see? You got no courage.
I like crumb bum. It makes me laugh every time. What kind of if somebody called me a crumb bum, I'd be like, all right. That's the best you got.
Next time you get into it with a Dodgers fan on social media,
you're a crumb creep coward.
Call them.
I'm going to.
I wouldn't call it a memory, but I have this feeling of maybe like my grandpa calling someone a crumb bum at some point. Was that just an insult that people use?
Was it his butler? He got mad at his butler, called him a crumb creep coward.
Crumb bum. Crumb bum.
Crumb bum.
I'm complaining about so much. Crumb bum.
I love it. I think it needs to be, it's classier, right? It's classier than calling somebody an MFer, right? And I do love that's my favorite word in the English language.
But if you're too classy, do people take you seriously or do they just laugh at you?
If you got in a fight and somebody called you a crumb bum, I would pee my pants from laughing. If you're a real crumb bum.
I don't think that's the reaction you're going
No,
for.
it doesn't have the oomph, right? Like it doesn't have the oomph that some of the other words do, but man, it's good. It's really, really good. Crumb creep coward. It gets me every time. I love this guy, and he was probably I don't know like the backstory of Mike Rizzo, whatever his name was, but it lays me out every time I hear it. So I'd like to keep those drops, Paulie, for crumb. I'd like to keep crumb bum and crumb creep coward.
I just looked up like old timey insults. An afternoon farmer.
An afternoon farmer.
Someone, yeah, you don't rise early, and you're just an afternoon.
Oh, you're like a
farmer.
lazy
Yeah,
turd.
yeah, exactly. Chucklehead.
Chucklehead's
You've
good.
heard that one before. Dunderhead. A fribble.
Fribble.
Yeah, it's a good for nothing fellow. Just a fribble. A fuss budget.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. A gadabout. A gasser.
A gasser. What's that?
Let's see.
You're a crumb creep.
That's someone who brags a lot.
A gasser.
A gasser. A gentleman of 4 outs. That's someone without money and always borrowing from everybody else.
A gentleman
a glumpus,
with
large
4 outs.
clumsy fellow. A glumpus. A Grumbletonian.
Grumbletonian.
You're a
milk
real
sop.
crumb bum.
A mollycoddle.
I love these.
Nincompoop. We know that one. Rattlecap. You're kind of a rattlecap. Unsteady, volatile person.
You're a crumb creep
You're
coward.
a coward.
I'm more of a
You're a yellow
rambunctious,
sneak.
pompous, haughty.
What are you? What is it?
Rambunctious.
You're rambunctious.
Yeah. A sauce box.
Somebody a boozer?
That's a bold or forward person.
I'm a sauce box.
Let's see. A Sikh sorrow. Well, it's you know what? That one makes just what someone who's looking for a lot of pity.
Oh,
A Sikh sorrow.
I hate Sikh sorrow.
You're a crumb creep coward.
A shabbaroon, someone who's ill-dressed, shabby. A slug-a-bed, a parasite who can't rise in the morning. A sneaksby.
Sneaksby.
Spoony, nonsensical. A sting bum. Stingy. Are you saying I'm a
You're a
rambunctious
crumb
sting
creep.
bum?
No, I'm saying you're a crumb creep coward. I love these, dude.
You're a crumb creep coward.
These are the best.
You're a real crumb
poltroon,
bum.
an utter coward. He could have called him a poltroon.
Crumb bum is my favorite.
Crumb bum is the best. Can we incorporate these in this year's Incorporated?
Oh, yeah.
With Jesse Agler. Crumb creep.
We got
I got a couple of drops for the tournament of drops
That's
here in a few weeks.
absolutely incredible.
We got
You're
a
crumb
lineup
creep.
for the Padres game today. We will get to that and play a little Take on Woods. If you'd like to be our contestant and qualify for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas, get on the line right now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll play our game when we come back. First, though, I did have a big weekend at Prize Picks. I won a $185 lineup, $20. I set my lineup on Saturday night, including some college basketball, and I have to thank Nick Boyd. Came through with a big second half. I had more than 14.5 points for Nick Boyd. He got to 15, and that was the difference, as I was a big winner this weekend in Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy with 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings already. It's very easy to play, easy to use. I've been doing it for months. You can do it as well and win up to 1,000 times your cash while running your game on Prize Picks and during basketball season, college hoops, pro hoops. It's very easy. You think Steph Curry is going to hit more than 3 3-pointers, you can just say more or less and set them in your lineup and win real money with Prize Picks. And when you sign up, make sure when you go to the website, prizepicks.com, and download the app, you use the code KWFN and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. So $5 of your money, $50 of their money. You can set 10 $5 lineups right there. Who knows? You may win big, up to $5,000 on one of those $5 lineups with Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. No Crumb Creep Cowards in the Padres starting lineup today against the Chicago Cubs starting at 12:10 today.
You're a crumb creep.
I don't believe there is radio coverage here on 97.3 The Fan, but I believe there is a webcast with our Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. if you want to follow along at 12 o'clock today. Here's your lineup. It'll start with Eggy Rosario out in left field. That's interesting.
Yep, going to
He
get
had
him some
played
work out
some
there.
infield already, but now they're pushing him out to the outfield. Xander Bogaerts batting second at shortstop. Jackson Merrill, center field, hitting third. Manny
Again
Machado.
in the 3-hole.
Again in the 3-hole. Now, still no Fernando Tatis Jr. as he recovers from the flu, so I don't know if that pushes Jackson down in the lineup or if Xander will move back down to like 5th or 6th if Tatis is batting second.
That would
which
be
is
my
what
guess.
I would kind of guess. Yuli Gurriel will bat 5th and play first base. Jake Cronenworth hitting 6th at second base. Connor Joe is the DH today, batting 7th. Elias Diaz doing the catching and batting 8th. And Oscar Gonzalez will play right field today and bat 9th. Randy Vasquez will be your first pitcher on the mound for the San Diego Padres today.
Close to a
against the
starting
Chicago Cubs.
lineup.
Yeah, pretty close.
You put in Tatis and Hayward maybe in
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
about it.
a fairly well. Home games you're going to get more of the representative lineups. They don't like to have to send all their stars out for the long
Missing
drives.
Toddy, Arise, and left field.
Yeah.
Hayward.
But that's your lineup today. Don't forget, you listen at 9 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game. You can still register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan in order to potentially have your name called. That's at 9 o'clock, though. Right now, chance to win a trip to Las Vegas and take on Woods. Got Josh standing by as our contestant today. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
You're good. All right, so Woods has left the studio. You'll get to go first here. 5 questions of musical trivia. Then Woods goes. If you beat or tie him, we'll put you into our grand prize drawing for a 2-night stay in Vegas and 2 tickets to see Motley Crue in their brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at the Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. Stay at the Park MGM. Get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live, by going to Ticketmaster.com. All right, here's your advantage. You get to pick the category and keep Woods in the dark. Here are your choices. You got a mystery category, which is all 2-second songs. The first one will be included in all the other song titles. Got lacking in size, 5 song titles that have a word that means the opposite of big. And then we've got Don't Call Me Jonathan. That's 5 song titles that all include nicknames for someone named Jonathan. So mystery category, lacking in size, or Don't Call Me Jonathan.
I think I'm going to do mystery category.
All right, it's going with the mystery category. And today is both a mystery category and an all 2-second song category. So I'll give you this. The 2-word title of the first song will also appear in every other song title. So that's your little advantage here. Paulie's going to play all of the songs for you. You need to identify the song titles and the artists to score each of the 5 points. If you don't know, you can say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock at the end of the 60 seconds. But again, it's the mystery category, so you got to figure out as you go. Josh, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Paul, you got all the songs queued up?
I am ready to go.
All right, it is a mystery category. It is all 2-second songs. Josh, your time begins when Paul starts playing our first song. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right, let's go to song number 2.
Can you play that one again?
Go ahead.
Pass.
All right, let's go to song number 3.
And that's the Beatles.
That is the Beatles.
The name of it's pass on that one.
All right, go to song number 4.
that song was in my wedding, and I can't remember the name of it.
All right, song number 5.
Oh my gosh, man.
Uh-oh.
Go back to number 2.
Go back to number 2. Ah, that's too bad. I mean, you kind of recognize all of them, but when you didn't get the 2-second song, I think you were in a lot of trouble,
Let's ask
Josh.
him. Give him the first one.
All right, so the first song, the 2-second song, was My Life by Billy Joel.
So now, Josh, what's number 2?
Which means now...
Number 2 is the Backstreet Boys, Larger Than Life.
No, It's My Life by Bon Jovi.
All right, I guess it wasn't meant to be, Josh.
We also have In My Life by the Beatles, Best Day of My Life by American Authors. That's the wedding song. And Woods is coming back in, so I'll save the last one. All right, Josh is done. Woods, I will let you know that this is an all 2-second song category. So Paulie's got all the music ready for you. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays our first song. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Josh.
My Life by Billy Joel.
Correct. Song number 2.
It's My Life by Bon Jovi.
Correct. Song number 3.
In My Life by the Beatles.
Correct. Song number 4.
God. Jesus Christ. Imagine Dragons. What's the name of that turd? Pass.
You're incorrect. Song number 5.
Oh. Eddie Rabbit. Driving My Life Away.
Correct. 4 out of 5. Not
What's
bad.
that turd?
That was Best Day of My Life by
Day of
American
My Life.
Authors.
American Authors. They all run
Imagine
together.
Dragons. Well, that song was in Josh's wedding, and he couldn't even think of it. 4-0. Final score today.
Smoked.
Did not get any of them. The mystery category, of course, My Life was the phrase that was in all 5 song titles. You didn't love all those songs.
I like Eddie Rabbit.
I do too.
I love Eddie Rabbit. He also had I Love a Rainy Night, which I love. He had some keys jingling at the beginning of it. I always loved Eddie Rabbit. Yeah, I hate that American Author song. Yeah. Oh my God. That was in his wedding?
So he said it was in my wedding. I can't think of what it's called or who it's by.
Must have let the missus pick
I mean,
that
the title kind of lends itself to wedding music. Best Day of My Life.
That's true. I guess it's probably good for a wedding.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the best day. Yeah, I played it way too much.
I can absolutely see that as a wedding song.
Oh yeah,
for
that's
sure.
good point. Good point.
All right, we'll come back. We've got Sammy's spring train. Spring training Sammy.
Yep, there you
join us
go.
from Peoria, Arizona, when we return.
And what could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000 if you own a home? Listen up, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. They are the leader in quickly converting your home's equity into cold hard cash. You can pay off your credit cards or start that home remodel that maybe you've been putting off because you didn't have the money, right? Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. Virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisal. Average homeowner has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it, my friends. You can get it approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front by calling Loan Pronto at 619-207-4336 or going to loanpronto.com. Get the money you need for anything. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
about to head out to spring training. Well, both literally and figuratively. Literally in that tomorrow we'll be driving out to Arizona. So we're going to do the show, and then as soon as 10 o'clock rolls around, we'll hop in our vehicles and make the drive through Yuma, up through Gila Bend, and then eventually arrive at the Peoria Sports Complex late in the day, find our accommodations, and then Wednesday morning we will be broadcasting live from Padres spring training for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday shows this week. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to talk to Sammy Levitt, who's been doing an outstanding job and going above and beyond. For instance, yesterday, the Padres did not play at home. They actually played a road game, first one of the spring, in Glendale. And guess who made the trek down? I mean, it's not that far. It's like 20 minutes, but made the trek down to Glendale.
Like he drove back to Yuma
he
for a
works
game
every single day. I would not have batted an eye if Sammy didn't want to go to the game in Glendale. He doesn't have to go to every single road game. But he was there specifically, I think, because he wanted to see the two top prospects in the Padres organization playing together in a lineup for the first time. Ethan Salas and Leonidas DeVries both in the lineup. They played a few innings, came out of the game, and then Sammy went and got some sound from Ethan Salas. And we met him briefly when he had his introductory, first signed as a 16-year-old or whatever it is, but haven't heard a lot from him since. I was so blown away by how veteran and mature he sounded for a kid who's just 18 years old. Here's a little snippet of what Ethan Salas had to say yesterday.
I know it's a spring training game, and you've got a lot more on your mind, but both you and Leo were in there today. I know you played Arizona Fall League together, but you're both in there wearing Padres uniforms. Any significance of that for you, knowing what the future might hold?
No, I'm happy for the kid. I'm happy we're both out there. We're both out there showing what we can do and having success. Ultimately, it's fun. It's fun out there. Now it's time to win some games.
The kid.
He went on to talk. I think it's funny that he calls Leo the kid, in that I checked. Ethan Salas is 4 months older than Leo DeVries.
Hey, can you start calling me the kid?
The kid, yeah.
Because
I'm younger than you are. You have to call me.
I got to call you the kid.
Yeah.
I'm the kid.
Wow. Ethan, you look great out there. How'd it go? He's like, yeah, that pitcher's a real crumb bum.
Yeah, he's a crumb bum.
But very impressed by, he carries himself like he knows he's going to be a big leaguer.
Yeah.
He's not wide-eyed. He's not like, I can't believe I'm doing this. He's like, no, this is what I was built to do.
I love that. What
I was born to do. And we'll talk to Sam Levitt about Ethan Salas and more right after Check Traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Draft the Oil Change, your trusted instant draft the oil change. A little tough on the coastline. Step on 5 before Carlsbad Village Drive. There's a collision blocking the fast lane. Up ahead, a crash clearing just before Lacoste. It's been moved over to the right shoulder. Also, traveling on westbound 52 just before Convoy. Collision involving a couple vehicles there. Now over to the right shoulder. Collision on eastbound King Freeway before Euclid. Couple vehicles involved there in the center divide. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And checking in right now from the back patio at the Peoria Sports Complex, the kid. Sam Levitt is with his spring training Sammy, joining us here on a Monday morning on 97.3 The Fan. Sam, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm doing well. My weekend here in Arizona was great, aside from the parking situation at Camelback Ranch yesterday. I had to park because it was packed. It was a Sunday. It was Padres-Dodgers. I had to park a mile away. Not really a mile, but far beyond the right field corner. Had to walk, got into the game late. It was something. But aside from that, I was A-OK. Had a beautiful weekend. I was just talking to Paulie before I came on. The weather here has been tremendous. I know you guys have had spring trainings where you're bundled up here in big coats and hats. It has not been that way at all. The weather's been beautiful. And if anything, I would make sure you wear your sunscreen, because I'm looking at your spot there right now, and sun's pretty intense. So make sure you bring the sunscreen, the hats, and all the proper things you need.
I'm very excited for Heat Stroke 2025 version, the drive. Paulie, I hope you're ready to drive home again.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Great.
It was funny. I was listening to Jesse yesterday calling that game, and he actually made me laugh. He said, we're coming back to Camelback Ranch in like 3 days, Wednesday, to face the White Sox. And he said, I'll make a bold prediction that there won't be nearly as many fans for a Wednesday game against the White Sox as a Sunday game against the Dodgers.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun environment. I think they announced 12,000 people there. I don't know if there were 12. But a lot of Padres fans there, too. I'll also say this. The crowds in Peoria the first 2 days were great. Tons of Padres fans, tons of people here on the backfields to watch some pretty good stuff. Dylan Cease, Jason Adam threw on the backfield yesterday. Wandy Peralta, in addition to the Cactus League game today, Yu Darvish will throw a couple of innings in a simulated game. Robert Suarez, Jeremiah Estrada, part of that game as well. So, hey, it's part of the reason why I always encourage people to come out here to spring training. It's a great time of year. The stuff at the ballpark is great, but what you get to see on the backfields and all the great interaction is pretty cool, too. So, good weekend overall. And I think the good news is that, you know, in a camp that has a lot of open competition, a lot of guys have come out of the gate playing really, really well, contributing, whether you want to look at Eggy Rosario or Gavin Sheets or Mike Brasso. List goes on and on. Oscar Gonzalez has played really well so far, so it's been fun to see these guys in open competition do some really good things early on. It's what you want to see, I think, for the Padres.
I think Oscar Gonzalez is a guy that turned some heads. We talked about Sheets earlier in the program. I mean, you know, you just – of course you're going to let yourself dream in spring training on some of these guys actually figuring something out, making the ball club and helping the team win some games, Sammy. But any other head turners out there that you saw this weekend?
Yeah, I think I mentioned most of them. Look, Alec Jacob, I would say, is somebody who continues to really impress me. I know it's somebody that we've seen at least a little bit in the major leagues, but I'll tell you what, you watch him and the movement on his pitches and that funky delivery he's got and the interesting arm angle he comes at, it's a good change of pace. And look, the most major news we probably had over the weekend, aside from what happened in the games and some guys playing well, 2 injuries. Brian Hoeing dealing with a shoulder, Sean Reynolds dealing with a stress reaction in his foot, and I think we've talked about the depth of this bullpen, that being a real strength. Well, look, you know, it's already showing itself as something that's going to be really important. And I think you look at guys like Jacob, you look at somebody like Ron Marinaccio, who, you know, I had a conversation over the weekend. I think Marinaccio is somebody they really like and they're really high on. And if, you know, I think we've talked about him a little bit. If you look at the numbers he had with the Yankees, they were pretty impressive. So the good news is that they got a couple of guys that can slide into those roles. If you were assuming that Reynolds was going to be on the opening day roster, which I don't know that you know, that was a guarantee. But it just it shows even early on how important depth is. And I guess the good news is that it's February, whatever today is, 24th. So those guys got a while to work their way back before opening day. But, you know, Jacob is somebody that continues to really impress me. I mean, he just gets a lot of swing and miss. You know, that's a good change of pace guy. And, you know, a couple other guys there as well that have done some nice things. But it's been a good first few days of the Cactus League, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I'm mostly encouraged from what I've seen. Sam, there's one area that continues to concern me, though, and that is behind the plate at catcher. And we saw Luis Campusano over the weekend. Elias Diaz is going to start today against the Cubs. We saw Ethan Salas yesterday, and honestly, maybe it's concerning that Ethan Salas at 18 years old might be the best-looking catcher that they've got right now. And you know, we had that debate last week. Like, what if he is their best catcher? Can you really talk about realistically putting him in the big leagues at this age right now? And I think our answer is mostly no. What do you see? And I know it's early about the catching competition. Martin Maldonado had a really good challenge on a Matt Waldron knuckleball. I mean, nailed it. That thing the sliver touched the strike zone. I mean, but they're not going to have the challenge system, so it doesn't really help you much for this season from Martin Maldonado.
Yeah, guys, it's a really good question. I think that's one of the real areas that I'm not totally sure how it goes, and to this point, how they feel about it. You know, obviously Campy is in the mix, but having somebody like Maldonado, who's a veteran, I think certainly is interesting. I mean, you brought up Ethan Salas. I'm with you. For as talented as Ethan is, for as high on him as the Padres are, I just, I don't see that on an opening day roster. Now, if you want to tell me that he plays really well in the minors this year and somehow makes his way to San Diego before the year's over, maybe you could sell me on that a little bit more. He's had the nicest offensive moment of any of the catchers, like you alluded to, with that booming double off the wall yesterday. And by the way, he got it off a veteran reliever in Giovanni Gallegos. Pretty cool to see a 30-plus-year-old reliever, and then you got the 18-year-old Salas tagging him for one off the wall. So that was cool. I think it's a mystery. I don't have a great answer for you yet. I think I will say this. The sense I get is that backup spot is open, and there's real competition. And I would also say that, just as an aside, I had a conversation over the weekend, the fifth starter spot, like I think it's a really open thing. I know we're familiar with Matt Waldron. I know we're familiar with Randy Vasquez, but, if somebody like a Kyle Hart, comes here and really impresses, I think there's a real chance that somebody like that steals that job. So the sense I get is it's really open there for the fifth spot, and really open for that backup catcher role as well, if you want to call it quote unquote backup. With the way the catchers split time now, but I'm not totally sure, Ben, to be honest with you, what way that's going to go. And it's also relatively early.
It's early,
spring,
yeah.
Of course.
I was just going to say it's early, and that's got to be a position too where it's tough to get your feet back under you really anywhere that you play on a baseball team, but really at that position, man, there's just a lot that goes into it. So hopefully they can find some semblance of something that works between two, maybe even three guys. It may take three, and that's the other thing you got to think about is this team going to be able to carry three catchers? If Luis Campusano decides to start hitting, and starts hitting the ball as he's able to do when he's going well, could he DH in some spots? So, yeah, there's a couple of different options. But, of course, then it takes away one of those bench positions, Sammy. So, a lot to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way I've calculated it is you have essentially two open bench spots without the backup catcher. That's the way I calculated it with Tyler Wade on the team and kind of what they got right now. So, would they carry three catchers? I think that's probably a question for later in spring training as things crystallize. I'm sure if I were to ask it to Mike Schultz in 5 minutes here, he's not going to give me much of an answer because it's so early. But it's a possibility, I suppose, if they feel they want to go that way. But again, I think we're pretty early here still to maybe discuss some of those things yet.
Sam, you mentioned Kyle Hart. Have we seen him at all?
Yeah.
Did he throw a game on a backfield game?
Well, Sammy had some pretty good video of him.
Yeah.
Some nasty movement.
Yeah. He threw, I guess I would classify it as a live BP, not a simulated game. Not that there's a huge difference between those two, but I think it was a live BP. Technically, I thought he looked good. I was talking to some people back there, and I don't know that he's going to blow you away with velocity, but he's got kind of a lower arm slot. And, I think there's a feeling that if he can mix and match, and he's certainly on some of the off-speed pitches, I thought had some really good movement. He certainly generated swing and miss. I was impressed watching him by the swing and miss he generated. He was very much in the zone. And I think, there's a feeling that if he can, mix and match and has enough to play with, that he can get guys out at the major league level. So, the one live BP I saw, the first one he threw, I thought was pretty impressive. He got a lot of swing and miss. Look, I think with pitching, and I've said it to you guys before, I don't consider myself the pitching guru, right? But I will say, when you watch guys just get swing and miss and have movement, you start to see it. And the two guys I've mentioned today, and Jacob and Hart, like you could see that. So, look, I think he's got a real shot. From what I understand about that fifth and final spot, I think it's very open. I think it's going to be, I don't know how much they will weigh what they know about a guy at the major league level versus what they see here. But again, the sense I get is that this is a real open competition, and I anticipate somebody like Kyle Hart, if he comes here and impresses, is going to have a real shot. I really do.
And then I know it's still early in spring training, and it's not about results. And Manny's home run was cool on Friday and the first pitch that he saw. But if there's one guy, doesn't matter if it's spring training, if it's April, if it's July, he probably could roll out of bed in the middle of December and hit. It's Luis Arraez, and he looked on Saturday. I mean, what I saw just looked like exactly like he always looks.
Yeah.
The guy just he just hits all the time. He's such a treat to watch.
Yeah, and I think we talked a little bit about it at the end of last week when I spoke with him. He's just healthy, and I wondered about it because he told me he didn't start swinging until late January. So I was like, are you ready to go 100%? And he said, I'm ready.
I'm good.
And I'll tell you, watching him here, and you could have watched it on Padres.tv or listen on 97.3 The Fan, yeah, like he looked like midseason Luis Ariz, working deep counts, a flare, a line drive. I mean, it's so much fun to watch. And I heard some of your conversation a little bit earlier about him. Yeah, I kind of sit here and really dream about what a healthy Luis Ariz over the course of a full season can be. So he's healthy. He's in great spirits. I'm just reminded watching him here how great of a clubhouse guy he is. I mean, it's something that really stands out with him. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's in great spirits, and I think a healthy Luis Ariz is going to be a lot of fun, no doubt.
Sammy, appreciate it. Looks like there's already a crowd gathering for the daily Schilt behind you. Go box out Barry Bloom.
Make sure you save me a spot there.
There you go. Very nice. We'll let you go box out Barry Bloom so you can get some.
That guy turned around and looked at Sam like, yeah, go F yourself.
Who is that? Oh, yeah. He's like, eat it, pal.
Yeah, I'll save you a spot.
He's like, suck it, Sammy.
Sammy, we will see you.
That's the great. That's the great.
See you
Keith.
either tomorrow night or Wednesday.
Padres videographers, great guy.
We'll see you tomorrow night or Wednesday morning.
Here.
Take care.
Yes, absolutely, guys. See ya.
Spring training, Sammy. Sam Levitt, our daily source of information on the Padres from Peoria, Arizona.
The best in the business.
He
Excited
is.
to hang out with him next week.
One of the guys that he mentioned last week, we talked about it, whether the G is silent or not. MLB.com did their dark horse candidate to make each opening day roster.
Got it.
And the pick for the Padres, and this was from AJ Cassavell, is Bradley Rodriguez, which is a dark horse because there isn't a lot of open spots in the bullpen considering how much depth and experience they have. But with potential injuries to Sean Reynolds and Brian Hoeing, it could open a slot or two. And AJ writes that Rodriguez, hard-throwing 21-year-old right-hander, the team's number 12 prospect, posted a 2.64 ERA in the minor leagues last season, ascending to AA San Antonio. Says at this point he's a bit of a long shot, but he opened Cactus League with a 1-2-3 inning on Friday that included strikeouts of Cal Raleigh and Mitch Garver, and he is one guy who is kind of maybe someone who could fight his way onto the roster at the end of spring training.
I love the dark horse guy that makes the team out of spring training and is just, comes in and finds a spot in the bullpen. And but yeah, I was just looking at some, they had some spring training velos that they posted, Ben. You're talking again, February 25th, okay? And Kyle Bodie actually is part of the retweet of this, but max pitch velocity on 2/23/25, which was what, yesterday? Grant Taylor from the White Sox throwing 101. John McMillan from the Phillies throwing 102. I can't say his name. Eduardo Nunez from the Padres, third at 99.6. Then Cole Palpum threw 99.2. And then Francis Pena from the Padres threw 98.3 all yesterday. In the these are our young guys coming up through the system.
AJ finds his arms.
I mean, pumping Chad yesterday, February.
Yeah, this isn't July. This is February.
That is absolutely bananas. Yeah, and somebody basically said 101 in February. People still think batting average is down because of hitting philosophy. Guys throw pretty hard, and they're pretty nasty, and they have nasty secondary
it used to be the first
pitch.
couple of spring outings were like, hey, just, throw it up there at 90 and let's just, get your arms stretched out a little bit.
Get back in the groove.
They're already pumping it up at 100.
101.
It's not even March yet.
No. I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard. And again, it makes what Luis Ariz does so special. Just being able to hit that every day is insane. Insane.
All right, we've got 1 hour left here of Ben and Woods. We have our biggest fan announcement coming up to kick off our 9 o'clock hour. Also, in a final hour, we have tickets to give away to the SDSU New Mexico game tomorrow night. And I'll tell you what, the Aztecs need you more than ever tomorrow night because they're going to be
biggest game of the year.
Without Magoon Gwath, it's a huge game. They need the fans probably to help carry them to an upset win over first place New Mexico. So this is a big one for the show and for the supporters of San Diego State. So we'll give away a pair of tickets. Coming up in our last hour, Reindl Report, and then we'll take you to Annie and Elston at 10 o'clock this morning. Don't go away. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, Padres continuing their spring today against the Chicago Cubs. Gave you the lineup earlier. Mostly regulars again. And Randy Vasquez is starting. We talked with Sammy Levitt in our last segment, and I feel like I don't know who's the favorite for that last starter spot. Is it Matt Waldron because of his long stretch of good play last year? Is it Randy Vasquez who finished the year stronger and has the experience? Or is it Kyle Hart, the guy who they signed from Korea to try to win this job as the fifth starter?
Man, I don't know, and I go back and forth on it again. And Schulte was pretty high on Randy Vasquez when we talked to him at FanFest, and like you said, finished the year pretty strong. And there's definitely some underlying things with Randy Vasquez you look at and you go, we think you can be really effective. But with Waldron, the reason I like Waldron is that nobody can game plan for it. Problem is your catchers really can't game plan for it either. And if he's off, it's off, and you kind of run the risk. But it's also a fifth starter. I mean, it's not like, it's not like your number one guy. Like, I'm okay with being able to mix it up on a team. If you go into a 3-game series with a team with your bottom 3 guys going and you got Matty Waldron and his knuckleballs on, I mean, you win that ball game going away.
I think even I'm guilty of this. We all tend to dream on what we don't know. And, you think Kyle Hart, well, he figured it out in Korea, and if he comes back, he may be better than a number 5.
Correct.
He might be the revelation. That's honestly a long shot. I think if you're going with the smart bet, in my mind, the smart bet is Randy Vasquez. I think he's the best major league quality pitcher and arm that they have for the fifth rotation spot. And he made 20 starts last year, and he actually made some good ones down the stretch as the Padres were battling for a playoff spot. And it's probably, in my mind, if I know Mike Shildt enough, I'm thinking that he's at least quietly thinking it's Randy Vasquez's job to lose.
Do you, or is he quietly thinking, I hope it's Randy Vasquez in the fifth? Because again, I think there's no knuckleballers, right? There's no knuckleballers out there, which is why I kind of like the element of surprise. You can throw a guy in your fourth starter is Nick Pivetta, Benny, who throws hard and he gets a lot of strikeouts, and then the next day you got to go out and you got to face Matt Waldron. That's pretty nasty if done correctly. So, honestly, it'd be nice to have 6, 7, 8 guys that you could count on.
All right, let me get to the biggest fan because Beatrice has a meeting and wants to know if it's her. Unfortunately, it's not you. You can go
Beatrice.
Go to your meeting, Beatrice. The biggest fan, if you hear your name, you're going to have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973. If you call back in those 10 minutes, you'll qualify for our grand prize night in the Odyssey Suite, 20 tickets, and you get to go with all your friends and enjoy our Odyssey Suite. It's just behind home plate at Petco Park for a game this season. You can register your name like Beatrice did at 97.3thefan, sd.com/biggest fan. But our biggest fan today at 9 a.m. is Austin Shirk from Chula Vista. Austin Shirk, you're now on the clock. You've got your 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973. Annie and Elston will have a name for you at 1, and Gwen and Chris will have the last name today at 5:30.
I know an Andrew Shirk. I wonder if there's any relation. Andrew and Austin?
A lot of parents do like to do the same first letter thing on names.
Yeah.
So definitely a possibility. Is it S-H-I-R-K?
I've got a...
Shirk?
Yeah, Shirk. Yeah. I've got between my T-ball teams, they're all siblings. Rowan, Raylan, and Rickson.
Yeah.
Got all the 3 R's. Yeah, and their last name is also an R as well. So I've got all of that.
Rowan is definitely a name. Rowan.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Raylan and Rickson, I've never heard of.
Rowan Atkinson?
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson.
But I've heard of Rowan. I've never heard of Raylan and Rickson.
Yeah. People are they're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of the most Encinitas 2025 names I've ever heard.
It's fair. Fair. I could read you guys my whole rosters. You guys would get it.
Jackson,
Pull it up.
Jackson, Rowan, Raylan, Rickson,
but
and
it's
Jackson.
Going to be, can you spell it? It's the spelling.
Oh, yes. There's JaxenonJaCSON.
Raylan, R-E-I-G-H-L.
Yeah, Raylan.
Here we go. We got Lauren, who's my son.
That's Bo.
Blake, Cal, Cole, Colton, Dylan, Pfeiffer, Gabriel, Jackson, Luca, Rowan, Ryan, Wes.
Pfeiffer.
Nice.
What
a player.
How's that one spelled? With a P or an F?
F.
F.
What a player
How do
he
you
is.
spell that?
F-I-F-E-R.
Pfeiffer.
Then you got Bodie, Cameron, Taylor, Colby, Jace, Leo, Raylan, Rickson, Ryder, Tanner. Is that elite or is that elite, dude?
It just sounds like a Little League team.
So I wonder, like, I was trying to think of my Little League team when I was a kid. It was Scott, Steve, Mark, Mike, Ben, John. You know what I mean? Like, you go.
Mine, I'm thinking Brian, Todd.
Todd made an appearance in the 80s.
There's a lot of Ryans and Brians. Ryan or Brian, and you had to enunciate clearly.
Brian.
Yep. Brian.
Yep.
There weren't a lot of Bens. I was, I think, the only Ben I remember. Eric, a lot of Erics.
Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah. Real quick, you want to take our biggest fan and see
yeah,
if that's...
let's see.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
I think this
Austin?
is our biggest fan. Austin, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
What's up, dude?
Congratulations. You have made it inside the 10-minute deadline, and you have qualified for our grand prize drawing for the biggest fan of the night in the Odyssey Suite. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Do you have a brother named Andrew?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to play ball with him.
You did?
Yeah, dude, he's a good player. Good player. If it's the same Andrew shirt.
Yeah,
dude. He was he played shortstop, and he made me work over there at first base sometimes. But he had a good arm. Tell Andy Woods he says hello.
All right, I will.
Awesome, dude. And congrats. Hope you win and get the shirts up there.
Hang on the line, Paulie. He'll make sure all your information is correct. But congratulations. Thanks for listening.
Excellent work. Small world out there. And speaking of small world, Ben, something happened this morning to maybe this program that I need to figure out.
Something that doesn't my radar, I don't really care, but for you
don't care.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's interesting if it happened.
It's all I've been thinking about for the last 20 or 30 minutes.
I want to
see. I'm not.
I want to. I want to leave. I want our show to be over.
I want our show to be over so I can go check this out. So we got a tweet this morning from Steph. Congratulations at Ben and Woods for making a partial clip on Howard Stern. I had to go back and listen to make sure it was you guys. So I've been racking my brain since I got the tweet. Why would we end up on the Howard Stern show? And I started thinking about, because they have people that just
they do like Ben. Remember you were on the Trevor Noah's show.
Yeah,
they played a news clip.
What was the Tosh
Tonight Show?
Yeah,
you were on Tosh.
Clips all over the place.
When you got hit by a car, was that on Tosh?
I was on Tosh. Yeah,
that is phenomenal.
Daily Show, and I was on.
And that didn't
Conan O'Brien.
That didn't get you excited?
No, that was cool. I guess.
So why is Howard Stern not cool? You're in radio.
I don't think it's anything that I did that got us on Howard Stern.
We don't know what it was.
We don't know what it is.
That's true. We don't know.
But
we don't know.
Based on when that post came in, Howard would have been live around 4 a.m.
Yes.
Probably goes till about 7 a.m. local time. It was in the 8 o'clock hour here on the West Coast. So it's the replay, I'm sure, of the live show. So you don't really know when it was. And I was kind of looking on my app, they labeled each segment of the show.
What did they talk about?
I mean, right now they're talking about the Yankees and facial hair. We did talk
about that.
I don't know if our takes were so.
But they're not a sports show, so maybe they looked up.
outrageous.
Maybe they looked up some sports radio shows talking about the Yankees. I don't know. Lesbian porn prank. I don't think we talked about that one. Biggest pervert reaction.
They did
You did talk about.
I did mention that. They did a test on the show. They had a doctor. I think that was off the air, though.
I think you mentioned it off the air.
I think it was off the air.
So I'm curious to know.
Was they say he's got people watching everywhere. Maybe that was an off the air clip they stole for our show.
Potentially, they did a test on the show with the whole staff to see who the biggest pervert was, and they had brought in a doctor, and she gave him the test and then analyzed it. It was really brilliant. Who is it on this show?
I'd like to think that it's probably you or me.
I'd say it's you by far. Chris has been. We should put a poll. I don't want to steal his bit outright, but I also kind of want to find a doctor to come in and administer the same test and be like, "Hey, Howard, I'm sorry, but it's a really good bit."
I don't think that there shouldn't be any judgment involved.
No, there is no judgment, and they didn't really judge either. They were just more like, "Oh, wow."
I mean, what is perverted now, though? I mean, what used to be considered is now considered quite normal, I would think. Healthy, normal, human,
James says all you guys look like pervs. That's fair.
That is fair. Yeah.
That's fair. I would really like to take this test. Ben is a perv for golf and Aztecs basketball.
True.
If you could judge,
if it's just an obsession with something, is that all it is?
No,
I'm not creepy though. I'm not a creepy person
you're not.
at all.
You're not creepy. I'm not creepy. Paulie's not creepy. Perverted though. Yeah, no clips of us doing that.
What was that in reference to?
What
again?
was that
I don't know.
Brian Dutcher got a new sweater vest or something?
I think it was.
I could listen to it all day. Yeah, what is a pervert?
I don't even know.
Read it.
What's the
Figure it
definition?
out. Somebody ask Grok or something.
I mean, it's,
Just read it. Read the definition.
All right.
Because I want to know. Also, can we take an online test?
Let's see. A noun. A person whose sexual behavior is regarded as abnormal and unacceptable. See, I don't do anything I would say unacceptable.
Unacceptable is the top.
Hang on. We got a caller that just called in. His name's Kevin.
Kevin.
He says, I was wondering if the guys knew that they were on the Howard Stern show this morning.
Oh, my God.
All right, Kevin, I need to hear this entire story.
So I listen to Stern every day that he's on.
Us too.
And they were doing a segment on, first of all, on the Yankees with their reversal of the facial hair ban. And then that led into the Justin Tucker massage scandal. And he started joking about how unfortunate it is that sports shows are still subject to FCC regulations and how they had to dance around what happened. And so they played the clip of Woodsy talking about it being a surprise.
Oh, no way. Oh, my God. My voice was on Howard Stern today, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it was unmistakable. It was you. So I was like, I got to call in and tell him.
Dude, thank you so much for calling. Also, I've been threatening to retire. It's not going to get much better than this. I'll see you guys later. Have fun at spring training.
Kevin, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
You don't get compensated for that, Woods. You're not getting compensated for.
Wow.
Thank you, Kevin, for saving them from having to listen through hours and hours and hours to find it. Now, can we play that?
Yeah, I think we can.
I mean, if he can play us, we can play
it.
him. That's all's fair. If, turnabout is fair.
But
play.
he was probably making fun of me for having to dance around it.
Well, you did,
which
have
is
to dance
fine,
around
dude.
it, which is
I don't
fine.
care.
Congratulations.
I mean,
Woods,
I'll try to find it before the end of the hour.
I'm
lifelong
dead.
dream.
Definitely have it tomorrow.
That's on the resume. Once briefly appeared on the Howard Stern show by proxy.
Our dear friend Howard Stern.
Hey, hang on one sec, guys. Let me check. Look at this. Howard Stern's texting me to see if I want to come on there. Unbelievable. That's a true story. That actually happened. Paulie told that story last week. Worked for a guy that literally said...
Yeah, we had a show meeting before in the studio around 5:30 every morning.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of sitting there, all right, let's start with this. Oh, we got so-and-so calling in at this time. And then all of a sudden I just hear
the laugh.
The guy's looking at his phone. And we're like, what's going on over there? He goes,
Nothing.
I'm like, what's going on? He goes,
No, tell us.
Howard Stern's texting me. He wants me to come on the show this morning and talk football. I don't know if I should do it. And I go, let me see. He goes, I can't find it. I'm like, I don't believe you. Let me see.
Because you're lying through your teeth.
Howard Stern's live on the air in New York
texting you to come on and talk football. All right, well, I'm going to freak out when I hear it.
I know you are.
I'm going to lose
I know you are.
my
I want to see
mind.
can you film your reaction to listening to it for the first time?
I don't know if I can, actually. We'll try to find it after the show.
After the
we'll do it after the show.
We'll do it.
That's pretty cool,
and
dude.
I was sure Howard was going to be playing a clip of me talking about sdfatloss.com.
Potentially.
Turns out that wasn't it. He really should, though. It's great, not just for people in San Diego, but really anywhere. You can follow the program online. You actually don't have to be in San Diego to follow the sdfatloss.com program. You can lose weight fast, up to a pound of fat per day, up to 10 to 20% of your entire body weight in 60 days, like I did. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and I have kept the weight off for over a year and a half now. And I'm not the only one. Chris and Scraby in the afternoon lost 77 pounds combined, I think it is. We have tier ones like Manny. He's lost 93 pounds, 50 in the first 60 days. Then he went and dropped an additional 43 pounds. If we can all do it, you can do it as well. No injections, No drugs, and it's all based on food you're just normally eating, like chicken and steak and fish. You don't have to buy any shakes or bars or mixes. Find out how it works. Get a free consultation by going to sdfatloss.com. And if you sign up for the program now, here in the month of February, you're going to get $200 off to change your life for the better. I mean, you're saving money at the same time. Why not? Why not? What do you have to lose except for the weight? Go to sdfatloss.com. Set up your free consultation today at sdfatloss.com. Got some SDSU tickets to give away. Woods is still reeling from the news from our caller.
I think I'm close. I was sifting through some of the Howard Stern show.
I'm sure we will have it all dialed in by tomorrow. So we can look forward to that on the Tuesday edition of Ben and Woods.
It's crazy. My phone just blew up. Dan wants to know if we can do a quick birthday shout-out. My sister Christy is the most Dodger-hating, bleed brown and gold Padre fan in all the land and loves Ben and Woods. Today's her birthday. She's listening right now. Christy, happy birthday to you. I am also a Dodger-hating, brown and gold Padre fan. Also love Ben and Woods.
That's the good kind of shout-out. We also had a shout-out to her family. I'll give Paulie a second if he wants to set it up here for us. But I saw this headline a little earlier today, and always for Woodsy, a musical legend when they pass is a big one.
The great Roberta Flack passed away at the age of 88 years old. And,
Killing Me Softly.
Killing Me Softly is her probably her biggest hit, but the one that I love is The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. It, honest to God, makes me weep. I can't listen to it. It's the sweetest, saddest, most beautiful love song I think I've ever heard. And she passed away at 88. A voice that I grew up listening to, certainly in my house, big Motown type, family, and she had the golden pipes. And but yeah, Killing Me Softly, I'd say, is probably her biggest hit.
Paulie, if you would, as we do on the Ben and Woods program, when we lose them.
This is BBC News. We're interrupting our schedules for the following announcement. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty...
Her Majesty, Roberta Flack.
And then right back to the
techno.
Dance, techno beat. Quite a majesty, though.
Yeah, very much
yes,
so.
Roberta Flack.
Yes. Shout out to your family.
Yeah.
Life well lived.
Very, very much so. All right, let's see. What do we got here? I don't know. We spent a lot of time earlier talking about SDFC. If anyone's joining us late, I think the consensus was we were all pretty excited to see yesterday's game and the way it unfolded. And even if SDFC had lost, it was still a big moment. Just years in the making, finally getting to that first game. I was thinking, I've never in my lifetime. I have never seen the first game of a major league franchise. Because
the San Diego Seals.
The Clippers had already existed when they moved from Buffalo
in
1978. Yeah, I mean, the Seals, other franchises are on a slightly lower scale, have come and gone over the years, but the Chargers were already here when I was born. The Padres were born in 1969 on a major league level. Nice. So by the time I was born, they were already established. So this was something new for me to see the first game ever. And now I can honestly say I've seen every game in SDFC's history on the Major League Soccer level, and they are 1-0. They've got full 3 points in the standings. Andres Dreyer is tied for the league lead in goals, I think, with like 6 other players who had 2 goals in their first games over the weekend. It's a 34-game schedule, so long
What's that called again, a brace?
A brace, yeah. 2 goals is a brace. 3 goals is
hat trick.
A hat trick, just like in hockey. But what a great way to start their franchise history, not only winning, but winning on the road, and winning on the road against the defending league champions.
Had not lost there since October of 23 is, I believe.
Went completely undefeated. I think they had 17 wins and 4 ties or something at home last season. So they hadn't lost since the previous season near the end in October. A home match. And they were huge favorites over... I mean, you would have taken a tie, absolutely a draw.
A draw, yes.
No questions asked. That would have been a great result for SDFC in their first game. A win beyond belief. A 2-goal win going away that they probably could have won by even more. Not even thinkable, really, for the first match in SDFC history. So really well done. And I was impressed. And again, as my kind of layman's soccer viewing eyes, it looked crisp. They would make those quick passes where it's like 1, 2, 3, tic-tac-toe around, and it didn't always result in much, but they didn't look like they were stumbling around. It looked like they had been playing together for years and years. And remember, none of these guys really knew each other until what,
a few weeks ago.
2 months ago when
Yeah.
they had their first practices and started training camp. Most of them, I think 15 guys had never played in MLS before. Now, some were coming over from professional teams in Europe and other parts of the world, but they only had like 3 or 4 guys with any discernible MLS experience. So really, to put that all together in such a short period of time, well done by Mikey Varas and his coaching staff and Tyler Heaps, the general manager, for putting that team together from scratch to the point where in their first game they looked absolutely 100% not only competitive, but like a playoff contender this year.
SDFC was the better side from the opening whistle, Ben. More direct, more dynamic, more ideas, proactive. Galaxy had a couple of looks in the 80s, but Dos Santos made the necessary plays. It's one thing to win your debut. It's another to beat the defending champs clinically on their own pitch.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Turnabout is fair play. I swiped that directly from Craig Elston's Blue Sky account. So there you know. I mean, they're going to read Benny's tweets.
They read Ben's Aztecs tweets.
Now,
we can read Craig's Aztecs Blue Sky posts.
I was looking at my shoulder to see if he was here. He came in and punched me in the back of the head.
I'll trust his soccer knowledge. Certainly, he's
100%.
been around the game for quite a while.
100%.
So if he thinks that SDFC was the better side, then I believe it.
It was
the better side.
It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy to see, and also it was crazy for me to get so excited as I did as I was wolfing down my carne asada burrito, watching on my phone. It was really, really awesome. And then, you know, of course, when the game ends, the look on Mikey Varas' face and Chucky Lozano's face, and it was really, really special.
I think the funny thing is, because in soccer, of course, unlike other American sports, the clock doesn't count down.
The what?
The clock doesn't count down.
Because I thought you said something else.
It counts up.
Sounded to me like that you said
you get the
something else entirely.
I said clock. I'm pretty sure I said clock.
No, he didn't. He did. He did.
Felt like I said clock.
No, I don't. We can go back and listen, of course. I'm pretty sure
but
you didn't.
You know, there's like an approximate amount of stoppage time.
Yes.
But then at some point you get to the end and everyone's like, when is it going to end? Like,
I know.
And there was this shot of Mikey hitting like his
The
wrist.
watch.
Like,
Let's
time,
go.
Let's go. Let's get to when's the time. Let's get a peek on.
I'll tell you.
here.
Look, and I know this is how it's always been. I said the exact same thing last night. I'm watching the game. The announcers they're having to dance around it a little bit. Like, well, of course, there's going to be some extra time at the end, and we don't know when this game because LAFC was in
Galaxy.
our.
LA
God
Galaxy.
dang it! Again, the Galaxy was in our zone, Ben. Chance after chance after chance to get on the board, and you're just going, oh God, how much time are they going to add? And when you saw the 5 minutes come out. Couple of chances, and then it cleared. It cleared again a couple times. You're like, we got this thing in the bag, man. It was really, really fun, and I got way into it. My wife's already texted me and asked if we should take the kids on Saturday, and I just said I would love to be there. I don't want to be there with them at 7:30 on Saturday night. I love all of you guys, but I can't do it. I love you, but I can't do it.
It's a little late for your.
It's Ben. Where's your mic
on?
Oh, it's a little late for your fam. 7:30 is bedtime.
They're in bed by 7. So there's no way on a Saturday night I'm dragging those guys out there. There's just no chance.
All right, let's see. The Aztecs will hope they'll be the better side tomorrow night when they host New Mexico in a very, very important Mountain West showdown. We get some tickets to give away right now. If you want to win some seats at Viejas Arena for tomorrow night's game, be the fourth caller at 833-288-0973. We'll send you to the game against the Lobos. You can get your tickets now at GoAztecs.com for what is close to a must-win game if San Diego State wants some at-large hopes for the NCAA tournament. That's tomorrow night, 833-288-0973. Paulie's got his Reindl Report, got some headlines we haven't gotten to yet in our final segment coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
First, though, we'll tell you about 7 Mile Casino. It is Monday. It's 9:30, and the great thing about 7 Mile is it doesn't matter what day it is, what time of the day it is open. It is 24/7, one of the few options in San Diego for entertainment. For dining, you can show up whenever you're off work. If you got the weird schedule and you're looking for just a couple of hours having fun, head on down to 7 Mile Casino and check out one of their amazing card tables.
Bro, it's 7 minutes away from downtown. You can drive down there for 20 minutes, play some California-style blackjack, win some loot, turn around and walk out the door.
It's always a good strategy.
It's right there,
just
dude.
walk out. It doesn't feel like you're wasting your time because you just drove an hour to get to another card. Well, I got to stay here for a while to make it worth my time.
Exactly. It's not a big, long day trip, man. You can make a quick jaunt over to 7 Mile Casino. It's a smoke-free environment as well. You walk in, it does not feel like a dingy card room because it's not a dingy card room. It's a really, really cool establishment. So if you haven't been yet, we'd appreciate you going out, sampling it for yourself. Check it out at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
What's going on?
I mean, he's not dying or anything.
Well,
He's
I was worried. I'm saying we should update Tier 1s on Cole Paplum, who is the Padres pitcher who took a line drive to the face.
How's
yesterday.
he doing?
He is stable, which isn't the most, I don't know, the greatest of news. I mean, stable is better than not stable, but Mike Schultz said he had multiple fractures in his face.
Oh God, no.
He said he is stable, but the pain has started to subside a bit. Everything that was positive also sounded horrifically bad. I mean, hopefully there's no he was alert. I don't know how alert I want to be if my face is fractured and the pain was continuing. He didn't sleep that well, Mike Schultz said, which you'd imagine.
Yeah.
So, honestly, while it was couched as kind of like probably going to be okay, sounds like it was a pretty miserable last, 16 hours for Cole Paplum, unfortunately.
Kid, dude. Holy
he was at
cow.
the ER, got all the imaging, but he is stable, so, at least he seems to be out of any critical danger from the line drive.
I think you know that's as bad as good news can
Yeah,
sound.
it's bad as good news can get.
Yeah.
I freaked Ben out, and I said, we need to also update people on Fernando Tatis. And Ben said, is he okay? We were coming back.
And then you said no.
I go, no.
What do you mean, no? We knew he had the flu. He came back on Sunday and got some treatment. He didn't really work out, but I thought that was probably a sign that he was getting better. Now, he's not in the lineup today.
That says Fernando Tatis Jr., this is per A.J. Cassavell. He's still battling illness. Sort of unclear when he'll play his first Cactus League game. He's going to require a little bit more recovery, Mike Schultz said. I have heard that this new iteration of the flu is pretty bad, man. 8-9 days, it's knocking people out. The worst I've ever had is about a 2-day flu. 2 days seems to be about the max that I can get, knock on wood. But I've heard this new
I've had a week long before.
Have you really? A week?
Awful.
Oh, my. Body just atrophies?
I lost 17 pounds, which wasn't the worst.
It's not the worst.
But, dude, I mean, couldn't hold soup down. Was trying to, a saltine cracker, every 8 hours. It was awful.
Yeah, so I've heard it's nasty. So that's super cool that we're on our way there and it's going around. So excited. I guarantee you I'm going to get that before we come back.
You know what? We're good. Outside. I mean, it's probably transmitted more indoors.
Yeah, maybe.
So we're pretty much outdoors when we're there.
Probably cross him off the list.
Hey, Fernando's feeling a little bit better if you guys want to chat with him on Thursday.
No.
This is cold, but way better during spring training than once the season's already started.
Of course.
And I pity the first pitcher Tatis has to face when he does finally come
when
back.
he's feeling back, man. Yeah. I'm not, as Brandon said, I'm not too worried about Tatis not playing February 24th now. March 24th, it's a different story. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, even a month from now, they'll still be playing spring training games.
Which is insane to think about,
they're
dude.
Still, I mean, we'll be very close to opening day, but technically I believe their last spring training game is the 24th or 25th, so we're still got a month left of Cactus League games. It's a long way to go.
I just was really looking forward to opening day, and now you've just really thrown a monkey wrench into it because we've got so long until it happens.
You've got 3 trips before opening day.
No,
don't you?
I only have
just 2.
Just 2.
No, 3.
Don't exaggerate. I don't have 3. I only have 2.
But I'm with you guys on spring training.
I know.
I have 2 other trips. I'll miss a total on those trips of 2 days of work.
I know.
Okay,
It'll be fine.
All right.
And this is a good time to do it.
It's a great time
in the middle
to
of
do
spring training when things are there. I mean, the players are like, all right, let's go. It's time to start the season.
Might he be feigning the flu? Because I know that I might.
If it was 2 weeks from now, I'd say yes. I think he'd probably
You might
rather
want to
be
get
out
in there and
right
get
now.
some licks.
Get some-
That's what I was
get
thinking.
some swings right now. All right, Paulie's got the Reindl Report. We'll get to the last headlines after our final check of traffic with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Wrapping up on a pretty good note here, guys. Just a couple stalled cars to mention. One is on the Jackson Drive off-ramp, westbound 8, and eastbound 78 before College. We have reports of a stalled car in middle lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
You gonna put hot beef in there or what, Paul? You're
Hot
waiting for
beef?
hot beef in there. We haven't heard hot beef in a while.
Hot beef.
I don't hear it enough. I think about it on the weekend. I will be driving around and I'll just go, hot beef! I just yell it in the car. Really,
beef!
It makes me laugh every time.
Oh, that's good. I will add it in
Thank you.
next time some edits are made. Let's see. First off, this morning, how about some good audio? We'll just always start with the good audio. Now, I'm trying to pull up the actual video. Okay, this was the Rangers and Sabres?
Yes.
Buffalo?
Yes,
In the
Buffalo.
NHL. Just an all-time F-bomb that made it onto the
Broadcast,
airwaves.
yeah.
Now, of course, we cannot play the actual raw audio.
We had to edit it in a way that makes sense for FCC purposes.
Which is a bummer. And I almost, when I sent that over to you guys, I go, it kind of defeats like the whole purpose.
Because the F-bomb is so good.
It's so emphatic. It's
so
just
good.
perfectly timed. But there is part of the broadcast crew, one guy, he's sitting in one like near the penalty box,
Yep.
and you'll hear a puck gets hit, and it goes right at this guy who's like, I'm picturing like the sideline reporter, whatever the equivalent is, right, in the NHL.
Ringside reporter, or rinkside reporter.
So we had to replace the actual F-bomb, even though it was as perfect of an F-bomb as
He
can
got
be.
hit in the head with a flying hockey puck. Have you ever felt a hockey
They're
puck?
very heavy.
I might
Okay.
even think about cursing if that happened.
No doubt. And then take said hockey puck and freeze it into a block of ice. And then hit it, anywhere between 80 and 90 miles an hour off your stick or however.
The puck is dropped, and it's 4-0
Fudge.
in the opening period. And Razor just took another one. And that was a rocket. Doctors checking Razor out very quickly. That was close to the eye.
His mic was on. It wasn't like it wasn't background.
It's not-
pod.
it was-
His
got the
mic was
mic
hot.
on.
Like they were about to go to him to hear about an injured player or something, and you hear whack.
Oh.
F.
The puck is dropped, and it's 4-0
Fudge.
I mean, he got domed with
The
it.
clip went
Now
everywhere.
he's
If you haven't
facing
seen
a
it,
big fine from the FCC.
Better not
Probably
be.
a suspension.
Better
Yeah.
not be. His if he gets suspended or
Called into
anything,
the office.
if they even say a word to him, I would be livid. I'd be like, "You're joking me, dude." Like, "Oh,
you gotta let that one slide.
You need to be a professional." I'd be like, I was being a professional. You're lucky I didn't drop 100 of those in a row. I would have gone nuts, dude. One more time. I have to hear it one more time.
The puck is dropped, and it's 4-0
Fudge.
in the opening period. And Razor just took another one.
I swear.
And that
How many
was
has
a
he
rocket.
taken?
Another one.
They said they
Poor
got him
guy.
last year. He got hit in the face.
Poor guy.
I'm not kidding you. If there was a way that I could Venmo the FCC $500, it would be worth it because this guy's F-bomb is the best of all time.
I'm trying to picture now, like Scan sitting in his dugout spot,
Just
and
one in the throat.
going. Ah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
The puck is dropped, and it's 4-0
Fudge. What was the game? What game was that again?
New York
Sabres,
Rangers and Buffalo Sabres.
Razor, they call it. I think every team has a razor. I know the Stars had a razor for years. I think every team's got a razor there on the sideline. Oh, Razor Ray Ferraro. Yeah, okay, I know that name.
Oh, he was on the Kings.
Just Squirrely said, "That's a tough ass dude." It would have killed.
Tyler says Scanlon would drop a G Willikers.
You're a real crumb creep for hitting me in the face with that puck.
You're a crumb creep. You're a real crumb bum. You're a crumb creep coward.
What a threesome that is, man. By the way,
Fudge. Fudge.
I mean, he wears it, dude. It happened to me at a Seals game one time, where
Crossball.
It was a lacrosse ball, and those suckers hurt too.
Don't you just have a little tiny...
So right in front of me,
Yeah.
right in front of me, I'm standing there. It's pregame, and one of our old SEALs, Garrett McIntosh was his name. So they'll do the thing where they go to the glass, they get the ball, and they just pound it off the glass. And it just rings in your head and rattles your head, and they bang it off the glass right in front of you. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, Mac, come on, relax. There's a tiny hole about yay big.
Just a little bit bigger than
A little
the
bit
size
bigger
of a
than
ball.
the size of a ball that I feed the refs balls during the game if one goes out of play. McIntosh hits the shot of his lifetime and puts it through the hole, and it hits me right in the dingus. Right in it. And I doubled over in pain, and he starts dying laughing. I start dying laughing. Now, it was Frank, no beans, thank God, because if it were the beans, it would have been in trouble. But it was Frank, and no problem there.
I've been at a Gulls game. I was sitting with my buddy, and our section was fairly empty, so there was a seat in between us, and a puck came flying over the glass right at us, and like if you blinked, you wouldn't have seen it even coming, and it hit the backing of the chair next to us. It was so loud. It was, I don't know, a foot away from hitting one of us.
Sounds like a gunshot.
It just wham!
It just is terrifying.
And I'm pretty sure I said what old
Razor
Razor said.
Craig said that they're still working on the netting at the new front wave. And so for soccer games, there's just balls flying into the crowd at 80 miles an hour. And they have to like warn people, hey, head on a swivel, guys, because these dudes are really good and they kick really hard. That's like a whole nother sport in and of itself, trying to dodge balls and pucks and things in play. So really interesting.
All right. Finally, next sports story today. This is, I guess, a good cause, but a very weird auction that has been brought to my attention. You guys all remember Adrian Wojnarowski, the former ESPN top NBA insider. He left the industry to go be he's the GM of his alma mater's basketball program, St. Bonaventure.
Yep.
He posted on X this morning, breaking. Woj bombs are history, but now you can be a part of them. Own the iPhones I used to report the biggest stories in basketball. Use the link to bid on my original iPhones, NBA draft credentials, dinner with me, and more to help at Bonnie's Men's Basketball NIL. NIL. So it'd be like the San Diego State, the Mesa Foundation, they have their NIL fund, and they're hosting this auction. But I actually pulled it up, and there's 8 days remaining on the Woj collection online auction where
so
you can
buy his old dead iPhone 4?
iPhone.
iPhone used to break the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard trade. That was it's currently at $350. You can bet on his draft credential for the year that Wemby was drafted.
I'd rather have the draft credential than the iPhone. It just looks like every other iPhone.
The iPhone that he used to break the news that the NBA had suspended their season due to COVID in 2020, that's up to $525.
That's interesting.
He's got his ESPN ID badge, dinner with Woj, a video call with Woj.
Dinner is fun.
What do you do with that iPhone? You bought it. Now, do you put it in some sort of case?
People come to your house for dinner and they go, what is that? Oh, Woj broke the Paul George trade on this. Oh, fantastic, dude. It's money to burn.
What on earth do you do?
They're like, prove it. I can't. It doesn't turn on. It's 17 years old.
It's at $525 right now, and it's still got $8 left. I mean,
that's one of his parents bidding on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not somebody that really wants that.
Brandon wants to know, can I bid on the phone Passon used to announce Manny to the Padres? Would you want that?
No. I've got a lifetime friendship contract with Manny Machado. I'm good.
You don't need that phone.
Yeah, Curtis said it'd be really more interesting if none of the data was wiped. Now, that's true. If you could plug it in and read the texts and stuff, like about that trade and getting that would be really, really interesting.
I would have to assume that he wiped.
I would imagine, too, because all the contact lists, people are like, hey, is this Charles Barkley?
So, like, his bank login.
Like, hello? Oh, is this Dominique Wilkins? Oh, my God, it is. Did you hang up real quick? So funny.
All right.
It's a dead iPhone.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's not like it's not. This is mean of me to say, but it's not like it's for charity or something. I want my basketball team to have more money. Give me more of your money, and I'll give you my junk left over from my
If you're
career.
a fan of the school, you can kind of, in your head, write it off as a charity donation.
I
Right?
guess, yeah. So, like, when we retire, Ben, we could do, like, a Ben and Woods garage sale. You know, here's our very first T-shirt. We just want a cool $250 for it. Amazing.
Here's the shirt Woods was wearing when he was apparently mentioned on the Howard Stern show.
This is it.
All right. And then finally, this is a weird gambling story out of Pennsylvania. A 46-year-old man won a $57,000 jackpot at a casino this month.
Nice.
Only problem is he's not going to get the money because, well, he's an addict. He has a gambling problem, and he had previously banned himself from the casino. They have a program where you can self-ban yourself, and that says, if I collect any money from this casino, you don't give it to me. Like, I don't want it. I don't want the buzz and the high of a win. I have to change my life.
Why are you there?
Then why did he go?
Because he's an addict. And
Right, but if you know you can't win, that should stop him from going in the first place.
Here's a short clip of him doing a news hit earlier last week.
They have an option of 1 year, 5 years, or a lifetime ban. It is enforced if they enter a casino while on the list with penalties for trespassing, and that includes a fine, and also forfeiture of all winnings achieved during the visit.
So he could potentially have to pay a fine.
It's like his way of keeping himself accountable. But he actually hit a almost $60,000 jackpot and gets
Used to work with a
no
guy
money.
that did this for adult films, and I'm not joking. He had a accountability partner that would have, if he looked at an adult film, his buddy would get the text.
What?
True story.
Wow.
If he logged into something.
Like Stephen Woods
I
just
do not
logged into
I do not want to be your accountability
Please,
partner.
Ben, please.
By the way, this is going to sound horrible because I know gambling addiction is a real problem. It's only a problem when you lose. It's not a problem when you win $57,000 jackpots.
Give that man his money.
We're done. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We will be here tomorrow and then off to spring training in Peoria. For Paulie, for Woods, I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.